Good night, everybody. I see there's a lot of chat going on. I've been over there involved with you guys in some of the chat. We have Mr. Amar that's going to make an appearance here. He's running about 15 minutes late. He had something he had to do right before the show, so he'll be in here in a few minutes. And a few other guests that may or may not show up. I don't know. I don't know why it's so difficult to be in this green room, but anyway, that's okay. All right. So everybody's already in here talking. That's great to see. Hello, Roy, Long Rider, Robert. And Robert, congrats on your Z9. We've got, of course, we've got Zach Z Wade Photo, who got his Z9. And so there are two new cameras there. And Mr. Amar got his R7. So he's been out playing with his R7. He'll be able to talk to us about that. I see Jeffrey's trying to get in here. As soon as he appears in the green room, we'll open it up. Hello, Ben. Charles Davis, good to see you. Albert, good to see you. Hero, thank you, man. Yeah, I remember the days of doing a whole live stream for back then, a couple of hours, and I wouldn't get 12 people through the entire show. Now we had 12 or 13 that were waiting. That's progress. I guess you guys enjoy this. I know I do. Jay Goolsby, good to see you. Ted, nice to see you in here. All right. All right. So, who was it said something? Oh, David said something about having facts rather than just rumors. David, I wish I could tell you I had facts, but I don't. I just got observations. And one of the observations that just came about recently was the fact that the 400 4.5 is real. And it'll probably be announced about the same time as the APSC body camera. So, what's the purpose of this 400 4.5? I think it's multi-purpose. Yeah, they're going to be full frame shooters that'll buy it, but you have the 1 to 400 as well. However, man, that's a perfect lens to drop on the. That's the perfect lens to drop on that new Pro Body APS-C camera. We're going to have to see if that actually comes to fruition. So Jeffrey hasn't made it in here in the video yet, but we have Mr. Z Wade Photo.
How's it going, guys? How's my mic sound? Is it all right?
Yeah, it sounds okay to me.
Cool.
There's Mr. Jeff, but as you all know, he'll be changing seats, so get ready for that.
Hey, Jeff, your video quality is excellent tonight. Did you get a new camera or something?
No, just the Z9.
I think he's got a light turned off
on here. Oh, on the live stream. That's just my Mac Studio camera.
Oh, yeah. Looks good. I didn't know you so pretty, Jeff.
I didn't realize I was pretty at all. So I'll take.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks, I mean, if it does everything automatically as far as like exposure, maybe just having another light makes it more crispy. Looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. It
I
looks
just
nice.
have the shine. I look for the shine, up here. Gotta have the shine.
I'm getting there. I'll be asking for tips soon.
Hey, John, thanks for saying that. It's my pleasure to do it. I'm having a good time, but thanks for, just throwing the compliment in there. I appreciate that. Hassan with the grits. Here we go. All right.
Well, that started early.
yeah. That's good. That's a sign of a good show. Yeah. All right. Hey, Roy, I hear you on the 200 to 600. You and about 500,000 people are waiting for that. Everybody's waiting for that. And of course, the Z8 or whatever it's going to be called. So, there is that off chance that the two bodies that were registered, one of them is full frame. So I'm not going to rule that out yet. But I don't see as much. I don't see as many things indicating that it'll be a full frame. I still believe that we're going to see two APS-C body cameras. Uh-oh, Greg's got 100% battery, grits and coffee. So let's go. All right. So yeah, like I was saying before you guys got in here, Amar will be in here in just a minute. I think he had something. He was called away for just a minute, but he is going to be in the house tonight. So everybody get ready for that. If you don't know his wit by now and his personality, don't take anything personal. He likes to kid around. So, and he is a Canon and Sony shooter. But I remember a time when he was a Canon shooter and he was really giving Sony, at least the Sony fanboys, I won't say the cameras, but Sony fanboys, a lot of agita. So, but now he owns Sony as well. But I am interested in seeing what he thinks about the R7 because that's a good indicator as to what we can expect to see in the, what are we going to call it? Z90, the D500 equivalent. I know
I
a
think
lot of
that makes
people
the
are waiting
most
for it.
sense. That name makes the most sense, but
Yeah.
I made that silly video about the future of their naming system because it's just so confusing and, goofy.
I think it's just throwing darts at a dartboard and spinning a wheel with letters and numbers on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody had a funny remark in the comment section. They said that they think the mirrorless naming system was devised by the board members drinking too much sake.
Yeah, I have no idea what the naming convention is going to look like here soon, but we're going to have a real good idea, I guess, when at least this camera, if not two cameras, are dropped. So all the people that are saying, here's the thing, everybody's relying on rumors. Wasn't that, I mean, think about that. Just what I said. Everybody's relying on rumors. You can't
Right.
have an opinion, but you can have a rumor. I'm sorry, I'm missing something here. And I don't know that any of the sources are credible enough for anybody to mention anything. However, Peter just had a post over on Nikon Rumors, and he was talking about ignore all the other rumor sites. And I actually commented on there. I didn't know there were any other Nikon rumor sites.
I didn't either.
Or are you, and I went on to say, are you talking about opinions or opinion sites? And I didn't get a response to that, of course. But you know what? We can all have opinions. And I think that, again, if you're observant, you can start putting the puzzle together. So anyway, that's the reason I've been on this kick about what I think Nikon's doing based on some of the things that I'm seeing, happen. Why couldn't it be called a Z500? Well, it could be, Greg, but, it's Nikon. So
That would make too much sense.
we have no idea. Yeah, Roy says, does Nikon even have a naming convention anymore? From the looks of things, I don't think so. But who knows, man? Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, Robert asked, low lighting in the R7 would be interesting to know. I saw Jared Poland showed a lot of grain on his R7 demo at high ISO photos. You know what? This is the one thing that I agree with Amar on. Well, several things, but I mean, this is what links him to our community. He's another one that wants to stop this lying about cameras and things like that by the big influencers out there. And I think we all agree with that. I know that Vahagan agrees with it because he's spoken out, obviously, here just in the recent past. So yeah, we'll get somebody in here that went out shooting with it today and find out, just what he thinks of the camera. I did talk to him on the phone. He seemed to be very happy with it. And going back to the OM, the Olympus, whatever OM systems or whatever, but the new Olympus, Lee Rothman bought that camera and he's been extremely happy with it too. And he sent me some photos to look at. And I'll tell you, it's pretty impressive. So what's this mean? It means that the technology is out there amongst all the brands. So I don't think we can start. Well, I shouldn't say that because that's impossible to stop. But the fighting between brands, they're all good. Okay.
I think that on this channel, we call it a healthy discussion.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Long Rider says Amar was attacked online for going after let's see, North Truth. Okay. Yeah. Well,
North Truth.
You know what? And it seems like that. And that's why, I'm not going down that path other than to say, I'm not subscribed to any of those folks. I don't agree with anything they say, or most of the time. And I know a lot of people have said that, well, I learned a lot from Tony and Chelsea. And, I think you've even said that before too, Zach, early on that there were
yeah.
some good. Yeah. You know what? But they seem to have gotten away from that. Why? I don't know. But maybe it's just the fact that they're looking for views. Because
Yeah, I have
remember,
to go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, remember, for YouTubers that make this their living, views are what count, not subscribers. Views are what count. That's exactly the money. Right. So, and they don't care, and they'll use whatever tactic they need to get you to click on their channel and listen. So, I'm not going over there and clicking on their channel, watching their videos, and then haunting them in their comments about how wrong they are or whatever. I'm not giving it to them. That's just me, though.
Yeah. To clarify, like whenever I first started photography, now keep in mind, this was 8 years ago, something like that. All of those guys, I learned a lot from those channels, but they are, just for anybody who may stumble upon this live stream, that is not what their channels are anymore. You're going to have to go back 8 years into their videos to learn something. Now it's mostly gear and bashing and silliness. And it's prompted me to get away from that stuff myself.
Well, it looks like Amar's firing it up over there. We'll see get his video feed up. I don't know if he's got his audio up yet or not and can hear us, but
yeah, I can hear you.
He'll be in here in a minute, folks. Let me go back up. Here's a couple of comments. Hassan says, I think Nikon's DSLR naming convention was crazy.
J Square, how you doing, buddy?
I like this. Roy's going to stick a Z1 sticker on his Z9 just to fix the naming convention. There you go. It's funny that they didn't do that. Start with a Z1 and keep that. So now we're going to get a lot of Mark II bodies, Mark III bodies, or I guess. I don't know how it's going to work.
I'm okay with that because it makes sense. It's really obvious that it's the second or the third iteration. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There you go, Robert. Can we invite the Camera Conspiracies guy on here for a special live sometime? I'll send him an email and just see if he'd be willing to come on. I don't know, but he's a strange cat. Obviously, he's in it for the fun because I can't take half of what he says serious. But I guess he is entertaining. I'll give him that. Hey, how you doing, SJ? Good to see you. Been watching the videos, man. You just cranking them out there.
Can you guys
Mark Lynch says he's excited Amar's on here. I am too, Mark. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me clearly. Okay. All right. Yeah. But you just can't see me.
Just can't see you yet.
Maybe you're doing that on purpose because it's safer that way.
I just want to say real quick, even at 9,000 ISO, the Z9 does not look that bad. It's not detrimental. You know what I mean?
Right. There's still some comments over in all the Z9 or Nikon pages on Facebook, people talking about some have more success than others. So I don't know what everybody's doing with the Z9. But yeah, I don't get it.
Well, we all know it's a complicated camera. I mean, Chuck, you and I and Z-Way, I mean, we've been shooting for a long time. And it's like, it's not a camera that you just say, oh, yeah, I'll just get one of those and, and think that, in a half an hour, skipping through the manual, you're going to be all ready to go. That's not that kind of camera. I mean,
I'll say this. My Z6 II, just because Nikon is brilliant about, like, every time they come out with a camera, even if it's totally different, the menus are so familiar. You can navigate them really easy. And so whether it be the D4S, the D610, my Z6 II, I set it up in about 5 minutes. The Z9 took me about an hour. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's not just pick it up and go.
You're right. It's not just setting it up either. It's actually going out and then playing with what you set up and realizing, whoa, wait a minute. Let me tweak this or that.
Now
Amar,
that I have,
Mr. Amar.
Can you
Amar, what's up, buddy?
I'm good. I'm gonna have to switch because some reason the Sony A9 doesn't want to go over there.
Songwriter was just picking on you.
I didn't hear that.
I can see it. Look, if I were to put on my phone and show it to you, it's like on my Atomos. It's there set up. It's just not willing to go into the stream.
Here you go from Long Rider. It's already starting, man.
Can I get that in writing, Amar, please?
What's that?
The Z9
Yeah,
or
man.
the A9's giving you problems.
That it's actually working pretty good.
Yeah.
See, this is just Apple, so if you don't like it, you can send an email to Steve Jobs, and maybe he might turn in his graves. It's his fault if it doesn't look right. That's not me. That's this camera up here. So okay, we'll use this. You can hear me, you can see me. So let's just go with that, I guess.
Yeah,
that
man.
works.
I'm using the same camera at this end.
Are you? Okay, yeah, close enough. It works on the iMac, so I guess we'll go with that, and we'll just shut this guy off for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Roy just said AP
Cut that off,
Studios.
allowed somebody else to turn their air conditioning on now.
I know someone in Kentucky that collects a lot of money for their air conditioners because they break often.
He's a fabulous photographer, I hear.
Oh yeah, he shoots with the 100 to 400 sitting in his car. That's how you do birding. Sitting inside the car, roll down the window, and
Well, I don't know if it's hot out and air conditioning in the car. I don't know. I might. Hey, you just got your R7 and you went out shooting with it today. Before you get into the R7, though, I want you to talk about the blue herons you saw. Jeffrey will be interested in this and all the other wildlife photographers because I've never heard of them doing that.
yeah, it's very unusual, and it's not just me because I confirmed it with 4 others that go there practically every week. So what we're seeing is a major change of behavior in these birds, right? So the eagle population is usually not as active when it's very hot, right? Because for them to take flight, even for 5-10 minutes, it's a big toll on their wings. So you have to have good enough wind in there. They like to fly into it so the feathers don't, buckle up together. So they're very careful as to how often they fly. So we saw some, but nowhere near as what you have like in November, December, that time frame. So these blue herrings, then what they're doing is they're flying from on the Susquehanna River. So just imagine the dam here. You'll see it in the video that'll come out soon. So the dam is here, and then you have it's almost like a little island, right, where they have the power station happening. And then they usually hang out behind it on the Susquehanna River where you can't get to it. The only way you can get to it is take a small road on the other side of the dam and then go down a few miles and actually hike all the way out to it. Okay. That's the only way to get there. So what they're doing is they're flying out of there now, and then they're actually diving into the water for the fish. You never see herons doing that. That's unusual.
Yeah.
And I even caught an entire moment on the R7 where you can see it actually fighting a cormorant. That's very unusual behavior. It literally knocked that cormorant silly, but then it finally came back and started fighting for that fish. They were fighting for fish. So it's pretty incredible to see that. So it is changing. And the video that hopefully I'll get it done tomorrow. I'm going to title it clickbait, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to probably be the first video of the R7 ever done at the Conowingo Dam, because I'm pretty sure Frono's photo is already driving there right now. But I did shoot raw, so I beat him to it.
Now that you mentioned his name, he'll tell you he was there a day before you got there.
Oh, was it? Oh, nice.
He'll just tell you that. That's all.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. With the Z9, right? You wanted to double check the firmware update? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So that was the big news on Nikon Rumors. It's pretty much confirmed the Z9 2.1 firmware update. Okay, great. I need some sources. Maybe I'll just start making up sources when I talk about what I think's coming.
Well, everybody else is making up shit. Why not?
All right, there we go. First blow for tonight. Watch your language, gentlemen.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Well, you
I was
too.
just waiting. 20 minutes. You made it 20 minutes, Zach.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Should we maybe introduce ourselves? I mean, I know we talk a lot about who we are when we're in our own videos, and our own folks actually know each other, right?
Yeah, and I'm so used to these guys being around. But yeah,
right.
Please introduce yourself, Amar.
Oh, you want me to go first? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So I've been shooting for probably 37 years now. So I didn't start yesterday. A lot of the stuff you see behind the film stuff is not even here. I've got a collection of film cameras that most people would die for. And I can probably even pull some of it on the live stream and show it to you, especially like the Pentax 6.7 stuff. It's incredible. And I have 2 of them. So, film's very near and dear to the heart. Yeah, these 20 frames, 30 frames, it's exciting. But the faster these cameras get, the biggest thing that I'm seeing is I'm being more detached from the process. And it's just a machine where I'm just pointing in one direction and it's doing it all. And I'm just coming home and sliding the card in here and then looking at the image. Oh, I like this one. Okay, this one, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
In the day, you would sit there and you would plan. I mean, okay, the wind is this way. This is happening. All right, I got to make sure till the bird gets right about here because I only got 5 or 7 frames, to nail this thing. So you're not doing any of that today,
No.
So you're so far removed from the picture making process, and you are so much into the picture taking process. It's 2 different things. So the world has changed quite a bit, but technology is not bad. And Long Rider, no, it did not overheat.
He's been waiting for you.
I know he is. He actually pinged me, and I was driving back from Condomingo today, and he's like, "Hey man, you got to do a video." I'm like, "About what?" He's like, "You got to let people know you're going to be on." And I'm like, "I'm actually driving." Yeah, but just go ahead and put that tab thing on the community page thing. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that," and I'll put the link. Then I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a short to make it easier because I see many of the folks that are actually on our channel here. So I'm glad that you guys all came. More than anything, it's really, so what do I do? I'm actually a director of a healthcare company, very big one. So I just want people to understand, I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. We also have a very successful business, right? So we are an actual business. I'm not a one-man show type of thing. And if you're up for it, I mean, I can definitely get the owner and the CEO of 247 Media Group. It is a licensed and bonded company, right? So it's not just something that I'm running off the side of my desk. So we have major clients and we have contracts, and we're also legally incorporated into multiple states, right, to operate in those states. And we're also SWAM certified in Virginia, it's a single woman-owned business. So we just don't do photography and videography. We also do major events and things like that. I don't want to give it all away. If you want Pooja to come on, because ultimately she actually is the owner of the company, though I actually do a lot of the work, and so does she. I'm more in the forefront that you guys see it associated with that name, but she is a major driving force into what the company is and what we do and how we actually even operate it every single day. So if you guys are up for that, we can definitely get her on.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good thought. Hey, look, I want to thank you for coming on too.
Sure.
I know it was your idea, but Long Rider had told me I need to reach out to you, but I didn't know if you would, hey, I'm a small fry here, man, on YouTube.
We all are.
I'm even smaller. I'm the eye that people throw away from the potato. Okay?
But I'll tell you this, Chuck, you have been on my channel for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And you never give up. And you're you're not even a Canon guy.
No,
right?
because I enjoy just listening to you on certain things. Yeah, we don't agree on everything, but you know what? I never said, I hate you and you're wrong and I'm going to
I gave up on
unsubscribe.
Nikon a long time ago, but you never
Yep.
gave up on our channel. So that
Nope.
relationship and that friendship stayed, right? And that's
Yep.
why we're sitting here talking to each other. So this is what I want people to really understand. These big YouTube channels, like you were mentioning, right? Z-Wade, right? So what is your first name? Is it Zachary?
Yeah, Zach.
Zach. So Zach, you were hitting it right on the spot, right? Tony's and Chelsea's of the world, Fro's of the world, they were very intuitive, right? Into what they were actually sharing with you, because they were also learning at that time. So they were curious as students, and they wanted to have more students so they could share the knowledge. Today, all they want to share with you is a link or a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
It's very different. So it's become a business, right? So again, I own 247 Media Group, so I get it. I totally get it. But when someone is coming to there where you say, oh, it's a tutorial, well, it's really not a tutorial, it's an infomercial.
Yeah.
So, let's be real. I mean, if you really want to do a tutorial, let's be straight about it. And the funny thing that I'm actually finding now is I've looked at tutorials by Sony artisans, right? Where the information is incorrect. They're not reading the books. They're not reading the manuals of their own products, yet they are representing the brand. And people are going out there saying, oh, no, this combination doesn't work. I mean, so they did that a lot. 200 to 600 with the A7R4. My God, it's a marginal lens. It sucks.
Yeah.
I showed you the results out of it. It doesn't suck. You just don't know how to use it right.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that gets under my skin quite often when, they're just up there running their yap for influence. Right. I hate the fact that people will listen to everything they say and take it as gospel just because they're such a big name on YouTube. And that's what bothers me. I think about how many people they're swaying from one brand to the other just because they want to get up there and bloviate about it and get clicks. And I also think that, whether it's Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, whoever, they love to throw those clickbait titles up there as well, because they know that people are going to go defend their brand. That's a plot. That's a ploy to get you to actually come and give them more money in their pocket for views. But
they call it an echo chamber where everybody's in agreement and they know it. And so they put out what the majority of the people that follow them say. And it just perpetuates the engagement of the video.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, you have to start off the title always with so-and-so crushes so-and-so.
Yeah.
If you don't have the word crush in there somewhere, then you're not going to get enough people to watch it.
So if you look at that, it's funny that you mentioned that. So I made a video, right, recently. It was hilarious. Right? And it said, are you going to cancel your, cancel your order was one of them. And then second one was, are you going to sell your 7D Mark II? I don't know what it is with people, but when you ask them, oh, shoot, I got a 7D Mark II. Do I need to sell it? Should I be selling it? All of a sudden, it's like you get 5,000 views on that. I'm like, oh, what's going on with this world? So I'm just trying different things, but that's what they're doing. You're absolutely spot on, Jeff, because they're playing with these words. But the funniest thing that I'm actually seeing is, they did the same thing to the 90D. They did the same thing to even some of the Nikon cameras, right? They destroyed them. So what I was talking to Long Rider today. His name is Jeff, also on the way back, and he's like, these Nikon people are facing the same exact thing, right? That Canon people felt, right, when their first mirrorless offerings were coming out, because they were being torn apart. So if you belong to the Nikon camp, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like you're a fanboy or something, it's you have vested into the system, right? So you want to make sure that system can stay on and live on, because you put a lot of money in it. Camera gear is not cheap, right? So you feel disappointed, you get excited.
Go away.
Yeah.
You don't want to see anybody go away. That doesn't benefit everybody when there's only a couple players.
It does not. But think about one thing that I was talking to Chuck about is, could Sony make a A9 II or A9 type of camera, which is stack sensor that's cropped? Sure, they can make it tomorrow. But do they want to? No, because if they do stuff like that and they start competing more and more and more with who they sell sensors to, let's say they blow Nikon out of the water. Let's just use that for example, right? Let's just blow them out. Who are they going to sell the sensor to?
Right.
Right? It's not in their best interest to do
Well,
that.
as you and I talked, I'm sure Sony Semiconductor is all about, hey, let's stop this because that's a big client. Just like any other client, they want that client. You're right.
And shoot, if Sony were to start selling sensors to Canon tomorrow and Canon made that decision, I'll be the first one to be happy. They're the best in the freaking business. Why would you not be proud of it? What's the big deal? Who makes the damn sensor?
Exactly.
You know, what does the image look like? Does it look good? All right, I'm in.
Yeah.
So if you're
exactly what I said. I said I don't care who makes it. I want it to be good, and if they make a good product, I'll pay extra to have a good product in there. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Silly argument.
No, it's a good argument. Absolutely.
So Robert was asking this question earlier. I just threw it back up here. He just asked it again. I think he's ready to pick your brain on the R7. If you want to jump into that, we got all the time in the world here. Sure. So if you want to jump into your experience with the R7 today.
What can I answer for you in specific? I mean, what do you want to know about the R7?
Well,
the grain.
Yeah, he already has that question up here on the screen.
Okay. Maybe we can show the grain based on Lightroom. Oh, shoot. It's not going to let me open it when I'm doing this. I'm going to try. If it opens it, I'll actually show you the grain.
Okay.
Yeah, we can edit it even in Topaz and put everything to rest, you know.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, guys, I'll tell you this. The noise level that I'm seeing on this camera being a crop body at 3,200, 4,000, 5,000, 6,400 that I've seen, it's very neck to neck with the A7R4, which is a 61 megapixel full frame camera.
Right.
So whatever the heck Canon did, they really cleaned up that, you know, that noise reduction algorithm.
How large? I forget how large is the sensor on it? How many?
It's 32 megapixels.
32. Okay, that's a sweet spot now. It seems like
that's 80. That equates to about 83 to 85 megapixels in full frame. So there's nothing like that out there. No one's got it.
Now, because everybody likes bashing everybody's stuff, it just seems to be the fun thing to do. Have you found any concern with buffering at all?
Okay, so today I probably held it down. Shooting C raw in there. There's actually a page. Do I have it open? Let me see if I have it open. It's right in the Canon manual. You can shoot close to 187 shots at 15 frames per second with the electronic shutter. 187 full raw, right? These are raw files. Not JPEGs, not HEIF.
So what is everybody complaining about then? You know.
So I mean, what they're complaining about is if you want to shoot uncompressed raw, right? You got to understand this is 32 megapixels. You know, so these are massive freaking files. You know, so you take that and the most you can push through UHS-2. I get it. They should have put a CFast Express. Yeah, maybe they should have, and maybe charged like $2,500 for the camera. But then people would have a different kind of heartburn.
Yeah,
you're charging $2,500 for this camera, and now you're gonna make me buy a card that's $600 for it, and right?
Yeah.
So
I got to buy a hard drive, and then I got to do this. And then,
it's never a winning thing. So I held it down probably about 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, and I didn't feel the need to go more.
Right.
So and I still had like 27 left in the buffer. I mean, it's like, and it shows you on the Canon cameras on the bottom right, you can see how much is left in the buffer, and it keeps adding as it keeps writing.
Yeah.
And it cleared fast enough as long as you use good cards. So if you're like Tony and Chelsea, you don't do that Walmart jobby and you stick that in there. Oh, my camera froze up. See, it froze up. I lost all my stuff. No, I have never lost any on any cards here. Be it this card.
That was their own brand card that they use. The
Lexar card, this card. I have so many cards here, man. None of them have failed. Not a single one. Nothing has failed.
The same way, and I think sometimes people think you're lying, but no. And I told the story of the XQD card. I ran an XQD card through the washer and then the dryer in my pants pocket, and it worked fine.
That's
I mean, how much more of a test can you get?
Is that how you clean out the files, Chuck?
Exactly. Yeah, clean the contacts on it.
That's what we called weather sealed. It was weather sealed card.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's the other thing that someone asked me. It's like, hey man, it's only sealed like not like the 7D Mark II. And I'm like, and so what?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pour a gallon of milk on it.
Right.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is just you can see this back here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to see weather sealing? I'll show you weather sealing. Here. Go ahead. Beat this all you want.
Yep.
Seriously, you could pop a hole in someone's head and still go shoot 400,000 shots with this camera.
Well, you know what's funny is a lot of people, I see the comments all the time. Oh, I wouldn't do that to your camera. I wouldn't do that. Or you need to be careful. And I'll tell you what, Seth Miranda, who I'm sure you know, Seth Miranda, he got fed up with it. And on one of his live streams it's been a couple of weeks ago, he started beating on it with his fist. Does that bother you? Look, wow. And then he picked it up and took a picture of the camera and said, wow, it still works. He said, this is what I buy it for, not to abuse it, but because it will take abuse. I don't understand people. Don't take your camera out in the rain. Well, how do you get photos in the rain if you don't take it out in the rain?
I don't know. I don't know how you do that. Will it let me share my screen?
It should.
Yeah.
Roy Bixby said before before we really got into it that the first day he had his Z9, a client knocked it off a table. It's totally fine. I'm like, yeah. It's. I mean, I'd be. Oh, he said that in a comment. I would still be.
Look, I believe that's the case for most cameras by most manufacturers, but you can definitely bet that the flagships are made to take a beating. I don't mean you intentionally do it. I'm just saying, they're professional bodies and they're expected to be out in the wilds doing what they do.
Yeah.
It's not letting me share. It's telling me that it's something you got to do there, Chuck.
Yeah, but it has to pop up here first, and then I just okay it, and nothing's come up yet.
Okay, let me try again. Chrome tab, Lightroom, yeah. Window, which window do I want? Okay, let me just share the entire screen.
Yeah.
Share. It says unable to share. Please update system permissions to allow recording. All right. So do I need to do something in here?
No, we've all done it before. Or everybody, Jeffrey, you've done it. You've shared your screen.
Yeah.
What was the process? See, I'm on the other end. I should know this, but I don't because I'm on this end of it.
I'm on the Mac though. I'm going into system preferences.
I just did a share click to share screen on mine and it worked fine. But I mean, I don't know. It's a computer, they do what they want to do.
Terry Breedlove's comment, cameras are a tool. Use them and replace when broken. Amen, Terry. Amen, buddy.
Mr. Wagner says Macs requires system permissions to allow screen sharing.
Okay. So where am I gonna?
That might be under system preferences.
I'm in there
somewhere.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm on my Mac.
It's asking me to close Chrome. If I close Chrome, I will close this live stream. It shouldn't be asking me to do all that though.
I'm looking for you. See if I can find anything here.
There's the microphone. There's the camera. Photos, contacts, location.
Yeah, Rakesh, that's the answer out of Nikon rumors. They're predicting the 29th, but he's very cautious now when he makes these statements. He says, I think, plus a day maybe or something like that. So we're going to
Give me one sec.
Go ahead. You're fine. Yeah, Robert's saying security and privacy under system preferences. Yeah, so
and that's where I'm looking too. I just don't see anything about sharing on it.
Okay. expected to hear at least audio from Mr. Vahagan at some point.
Okay, I'm gonna have Pooja actually come over and talk about 247 media.
Maybe you have to turn your firewall off. If your firewall is on, it might not let things pass through. You might have to go into security and privacy settings and turn your firewall connection off if it's on.
Firewall. Turn off firewall. There it is.
Yeah, then maybe it'll work.
Okay, now let's do share. It's still unable to share.
Huh.
Okay, let me get Pooja in here. She'll come in here and she'll talk to you sort of as the better half of 24/7 Media Group. So you'll get an idea of sort of what the company does from a different perspective, a different lens. Because what you'll hear from me is more all photography, right?
Door just opened behind you.
Yeah. Oh, did it? Okay,
Yep.
Come on in. Come on in.
Come on down. Come on down.
I'm just going to hand it over to her and let her actually talk to you all. Here. There you are. Have a seat. Get to sit. And then we'll get this set up. And then you can share. There you are. And then folks are actually typing here. And then you can actually.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Chuck.
Your name? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it when.
My name is Pooja.
Pooja, okay.
Yep. As it's spelled, Poojaa.
Okay.
And I got put on the spot while I was just trying to get Amar to just come have some dessert. But looks like 24/7 Media Group is kind of listed here as Amar's representation as well while he's on this call. You guys are very well-versed photographers. I know nothing about photography, but and that's why we have Amar for the 24/7 Media Group. What we do is we're a branding company, and it's a woman-owned, minority-owned business. And so I'm very proud that we're SWAM certified as well. What is that? Small woman-owned and minority-owned business. So we always like to work with small businesses, especially when we ran through the tough times with the COVID pandemic. We try to support each other and, basically provide the digital marketing platform, our social media marketing and event marketing, and of course the photography services.
So how busy do you stay?
How busy? We're starting to get busy.
Okay.
Amar is starting to shoot events in the area. So we're in the Maryland, DC area now, and there are a lot of those, the Bollywood events happening slowly. They're picking up after the pandemic is, kind of dying down, and we're having all the restrictions kind of taken off.
4 big ones.
Yeah, we have about 4 events lined up already.
My wife would love that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, Amar, do you plan to post some pictures of the last one you took?
Yeah, Miss India will be going up very soon. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this will be the only time she'll be willing to watch a video
can tell them
that
the
I'm going to
website,
show her.
and then they can see it.
That's too funny. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but thank you for putting me on the spot.
You don't want to share your website? What is the website?
The website. Well, I'm sure haven't you told your friends already?
No, I'm gonna have you tell me.
Oh,
So I
okay.
didn't want to do it.
Well, the website, you can check it out at 247mediagroup.llc.com. And it'll give you more details about it. I'm actually basically a singer as well. So there's a bunch of other things that we do with hosting live concerts and stuff as well.
So now that's the content I want to see.
That's the content you want to see. Okay.
Well, only because I think my wife would enjoy it. I really do.
What I can do is I can have Amar post my YouTube link in the chat if you guys want, and you can listen to some stuff. I do have some meditational chants and some other kind of Indian, I would say classical music, but music is music. It has no language, right? So.
Exactly. But I love the classical Indian music. I mean, I've spent a lot of time, not in India, but over in Southwest Asia and others. And, everywhere I go, I see Bollywood on TV and music videos from, I want to say Bollywood, but from India. I don't know if it's exclusively Bollywood, but yeah. I kind of fell in love with it because it was a nice reprieve from fighting.
Yeah.
It is on my bucket list to go to India because Steve McCurry is my favorite photographer, and it's his favorite place. He said the culture is just so beautiful, and it's a wonderful place to shoot photography.
It is.
So I'll go someday.
Yep, it would be great. And if you can't go, there are lots of events that occur around the American subcontinent, right? At least I'm familiar with. I've done a lot of community service. I've led the Indian American community down in Virginia for about 7 to 8 years. And we've collaborated with a lot of different other diverse communities, bringing all, diversity together for the love of music. There's been a branded show. Yeah, there's been a branded show that I put together for like 3 consecutive years. Not to copy The Voice, but it was slightly a different concept. But I kind of we went through identifying, the best talents that we could find in the area on different age groups from all different backgrounds, and groom them and put them together on stage to be able to perform and showcase their talent. So things like that to just unite the community and give something back to the community that you live in. Is something that I love doing. So
I think it's fantastic. And it's a business that you enjoy too. And that always makes a big difference. It makes it so much more palatable.
It does. It does. And it's amazing how folks connect through music, right? I know. That is funny. I'm trying to control my laughter looking at
I was trying not to laugh.
Oh goodness, you guys are tripping. Thank you, Long Rider. Yes, that's you Jeff. Have heard me sing.
That's Jeff.
Yeah.
Long Rider is Jeff.
Yes, I know. Hey, Jeff. But yeah, that's just where I feel like we all ought to share where we come from and respect each other and share our experiences, our roots.
Well, let me ask this question. And Amar, you're there too. Are you doing your regular photography business through 247 Media Group? I mean, is this all inclusive or is it just for what you've just been talking about, Pooja?
Well, it's all inclusive.
Okay.
So photography is essentially an official arm of 247 Media Group, if you will.
Okay.
Aside from kind of our marketing platform, as well as kind of the entertainment platform, if you will.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Well,
since he put you on the spot, he owes you a dinner. I'm just going to call him out on that. He owes you a dinner.
No, thank you so much. I won't take much of your time, but you guys have been really great. All the best.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Of course.
Thanks for popping on. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Here.
Thank you.
Now Mar's got to come back in and just ruin the stream.
Yeah. She ran away fast, though,
All right.
Amar, she ran away too fast when she gave you the headset.
It's we got a dog down there on the door whining. That's why.
Okay. Mine is under my computer desk right now.
I bet.
She's sleeping.
Christopher's asking about your videos on Thursdays.
Yeah, so it's really funny. We went through, as you mentioned, as she mentioned, last year was very tough, right, for a lot of small businesses. And being an event management and media company, it took a major hit. I hope she's prettier than me. That's why I married her.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
She makes it very easy to photograph her.
Hey,
So
buddy, I married up too.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, last year was tough. It was a tough year for everyone, right? And you know, we come to YouTube and we're, you know, always constantly, well, you know, I don't like this guy, I don't like that guy. You don't understand what that guy or that person is going through, right? When they make that video or is providing that service to you that you are when you click on that video and watch, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, most people don't even file taxes on their photography business. They don't.
Right.
They just don't, right? I mean,
No.
they pocket the money, which is fine.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at it as a business, every single time you open your mouth about the business, it's a write-off. I don't even cut my own grass, guys.
Yeah.
I don't cut it because my studio is downstairs.
I'm incorporated also for something
awesome.
else, but it's a minority-owned women's business because my wife is Portuguese.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I understand that. And people don't understand when I say, well, this is a write-off. That's a write-off. Well, how could that be? Well, you just got to go into business for yourself and find out. But you bring up a good point talking about, you know, you have a business now. I talk to people and I know they probably don't want to hear it. And I'll talk about the weekend photographer. And that's the person you're talking about. He just has a camera. He's you know, pretty proficient with it. And he's out shooting weddings. And I explained to him though, the liability insurance, you know, if you know, anything happens when you're out on a job, I mean, you're in trouble. They take everything from you. Without having that liability insurance. So that goes right into what you were talking about, not filing taxes on it or whatever. It's just money under the table.
So we have there are two. So one bit of education, if people are, you know, want to know, right? If they want to start their own business. So what you bring up a great point. Liability insurance is one piece of the puzzle, but what does it really cover? Right.
Yes.
So one thing you want to be careful, right, Chuck, and all of you, right, especially the ones that are actually presenting here today. There is something that's called LIBOR, right? So what that means is, you know, LIBOR. What that means is if you slander someone, they can't sue you.
Yes.
Okay. Just because you have a YouTube channel doesn't mean you can say and do whatever you want. Right. There are legal ramifications around that. So when you buy your liability insurance for your company, you want to make sure that, you know, all of those kind of things are defamation and all these things are actually covered in there. So if someone does come after you, you're protected. So when people, you know, tell me, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, please do, you know, because they have plenty of attorneys to take care of it for you.
Right.
Go for it. Right. But it gives you that peace of mind now that you know that you're actually protected as a business. Your business is protected. So when you come up here and you actually share something on there, you have a moral responsibility to do the right thing. You know?
Yeah.
And,
you know, and a lot of people will ask you up front too, are you insured?
Right.
You know, and if I mean, if they're smart, they'll ask you that.
A lot of the venues actually ask you that more than even the bride or the groom. Venues want to know if you're insured, because if you take a light stand and you drop it on someone and you put them in the hospital, you, my friend, are responsible for that bill.
That's right.
Right. And the bride and groom can also get sued by that. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. And I don't want to go too much into it because I know it bores people, but I hope people will at least perk up and listen for a minute and then go investigate on their own. You don't know how much risk you're putting yourself and all the property you own in one event where something like that happens.
They can go after it.
And it's because you were there shooting, and no matter how, it doesn't even have to be directly tied to you, but you will become liable as well. So you're right.
Yeah. All I can tell you is this: I can afford to drive $100,000 Mercedes because it's owned by my business. It's not owned by me.
Yeah, I have a few vehicles,
and I need people to understand that. A lot of people are, well, aren't you? Can I buy from my own money? Sure. right? Sure, I can. But if I take that thing and crash it and kill someone, they could sue you. So what happens? They can take your car. They can come after your house. With this, guess what? What can they really come after? And I'm not telling you what to do. You should really get an attorney, right? A attorney that specializes in business to protect your assets.
Yeah. If you're going to
important.
go out and shoot commercially, or if you're going to go out and shoot professionally, if you're doing weddings and such, and I keep bringing up weddings because there's more chance of something happening in a wedding than there is with a lot of things. You can lose your home and everything. And with the right, it's just a matter of incorporating. Even LLCs have some defense to that. But you need to check. I have an S corp, and specifically for that reason, because if I do something or I'm sued, the only thing they can take from me is the company.
Yes. That is correct. So, Jeff, you have so much stuff behind you.
Yeah.
Right.
I borrowed that's all my neighbors' stuff. Got all the community that dumped their stuff in my room.
So you could be at a concert with Vahagan, right? He might have his sunglasses on, right?
Yeah.
And you might not see him, he might not see you, and you take that 600 or something trying to shoot, a concert with a 600 f4, and you just whack him silly, right? With that thing. Now you got a big problem. You got a broken lens and you got a lawsuit, right? So things happen, right?
Yep.
So if you don't protect yourself,
it's scary. I looked into having a business. You know what's scary when you think about having a business, and I did have one at one time, but then my dad's health took a turn and I wasn't really able to get it off the ground, and I thought about doing it again now that I'm retired. But when I look into the costs, when you really look into the costs and you have this preconceived notion of what you would like to price your product at or your services at, and you just have this number in your head, you go, this is what I think would be fair.
Right.
But when you really do the homework and you look at what you got to pay for insurance, personal property tax, business tax, sales tax, this tax, that tax, and you add it all up, and all of a sudden that preconceived notion of what you thought you could charge for everything has just quadrupled. And now you say to yourself, do I really want to, not that you don't necessarily think your work is worth it, but you say to yourself, that isn't really the price point I wanted to sell my stuff at, because I wanted to be able to sell it to the guy down the street. I don't want to have to sell it to the guy that has a $1 million home, and it gets difficult. And therefore, I still don't have a business. I may never have a business because there's just all these incidental costs, and it just seems like you just have to charge so much for everything just to turn a decent profit. And
you're absolutely right. And I think that's why people will do it under the table rather than start a business. Or you'll hear a lot of people say, I'd like to start a business, a photography business. What do you do? Well, I shoot weddings or whatever. Okay. You know what? You need to start with your business plan before you even think about going out and shooting. They don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And you're absolutely right. Guess what? All the registrations, the insurance, and everything else that you have to do, keeping up with it with the state that you're in. I mean, they just drive you crazy. I'm sure you know that, Amar, with 247 Media Group, whether you're doing anything or not, guess what? The state still mandates that you have to respond to certain things and everything else. I mean, it's just, there's more to it than just, I'm going to start a wedding business. I'm going to pocket the cash. That lasts for a while until something happens or until you get caught.
And that's so you're really competing against what, right? I mean, someone just put a comment here, right? I want to really start my own business. I think someone wrote that here, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. But to your point, you need to have a business plan. What is your business going to offer that someone else in your area is not? Why should they hire you, right? What is that? Yeah, sorry, it's right here. So someone worked in IT for 36 years. It's a long time. I'm coming close to that. Not quite 36, but over 25 now.
Yeah.
And we do well, right? So between Pooja and I think we do enough where if we didn't have the business, I think we would probably end up losing so much of our income
Yes.
in taxes that it would be almost better that one of us just sit at home and quit the job.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So you have to decide. The laws of this country are written for business owners. They're not written for employees.
Right.
So the faster you understand that, the happier you'll be. So, Jeff, I know that initial jump is really hard to sit there and say, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Just do it. And the moment you do it, your mindset will change into, I own something now, and I have to work towards it. So when you are actually in front of a client and you're talking about that same wedding that you used to charge $2,000 for, you can sit there and say, hey, look, this extra peace of mind that you're getting, it's worth an extra $1,000, right? You can always go get a college student to come shoot your wedding and then call me later to redo the wedding. It's not a big deal. I actually redo weddings, guys.
Yeah.
It's a business. There are photographers that have redo wedding business.
The wedding redo service.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's true. Because they thought they were going to. It's just the same thing. When you go to McDonald's and you eat that burger, you guys have heard me say this many times in my videos. It's not going to be the same as walking into a Chili's or a Red Robin and eating that burger. Trust me, it's not.
Yeah.
And nor is the price. And people know that. They're not dumb, right? And when the moment someone says, I'm going to give you 1,000 raw files, I'm like, so do you know what raw is? I mean, other than Fro knows photo, no one knows raw, right?
No, I don't own the shirt, therefore I do not know.
Yeah, that's good. You didn't buy the merchandise. Well, see, but that's another thing that he does for his business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's again, the more shirts he sells, hey man, the better it looks for him. So I can write this off, I can write that off, I can write this off, I can write that off. So everything in this room that you're seeing behind me, it's pretty much a write-off. And guess who paid for it? Our beloved taxpayers.
Well, I can't say they paid for all of it, but
you know what I mean.
but no,
right?
you're right. And so that's a good point too. With all the problems associated with owning a business, being a business owner, there are some good perks that go along with
benefits,
it when it comes to taxes. You're absolutely right. My
Get
wife
a good
is-
attorney, Jeff, and I think you will see huge benefits, right? That you might be passing up right now, especially if you're good at what you do. You can really build a very profitable business that can last, and you can. I took my son today to Conomingo, right? Why am I actually exposing him to this stuff? Because eventually I know he's going to work, but this new generation, I'm worried. I don't think they're going to be able to hold a job more than five days. I mean, they're constantly doing this all the time, just doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, boss, come on, we got to have a meeting. No, hold on. Yeah, I got to check.
Well, you can become a phone tester.
Yeah, but that's
you're a phone tester. That's you could do it. You can do it.
Gaming
division, as they advertise for what some of the services. If you're good with video games, we can have you fly the drones.
I think Zach is about to file for the new business already.
Yeah,
he's been really quiet.
I'm actually working on the boring stuff of making YouTube videos. You know,
sure.
He's writing a script.
I'm listening though.
Can you explain what that is? Because Chuck doesn't do videos. We talked about this today, right? So we do videos. He does live streams.
Yeah,
he's
too much
good
work
at live
in video. I'll let YouTube do all the video work for me. It just becomes a video after we sign off.
You want me to explain how boring the pre-work is?
I want people to really understand when they sit there and become a keyboard jockey, they pick up their keyboard and go, oh yeah, I got you now. Okay, yeah, Nikon did. Oh, what? I got a Nikon. I'm gonna get you now. When they start typing these things on there, I want them to really think about how much time it took to get that in front of them before they could even respond. So what are you writing over there on that notepad? I'm curious.
Here's what I did today. So I'm a photographer first, okay? So it actually pains me to go out and have to put taking good photos aside for the sake of developing a actual opinion on my brand new Z9 because I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, everything is great. It's fantastic. And it's the best thing in the world. No, I just got it. I'm still learning it. And as I learn it, I'm relaying it. So I went and shot 280 or 260 images today in the worst lighting situation you've ever seen in your life. Most of the images are at 25,000 ISO. That's how bad it was. And the point of the video is to figure out how good the eye tracking is, right? And so this is basically going through each series, and I'm finding out how many are in focus, how many are not in focus. 260 shots. And actually, if you want to know, it's 32 out of 260 were out of focus. So I'm happy with that for me, but I can't stop there. If I'm going to make a video, I've got to show the stuff. I had my Atomos running. People don't realize how much work actually goes into making a YouTube video. It's hours and hours and hours. And it's doing stuff like this. And it's because I don't want to put out content that's not well informed, you know? And so it's a lot of work, man. It really is.
Hence me doing live streams.
It's not easy to do a live stream.
Well,
no, it's not.
You're right. I mean, still,
going off the cuff like that. Oof.
Well, you've got to find content, because people don't just tune in for me to sit here and host a chat room.
I've been waiting for years for you, Chuck, and you came through.
So yeah, it is. And I've talked about that before. I've actually talked about the fact that it takes quite a bit of time for me to do the 2 live streams I do a week. And, you know, have to stay up on top of everything going on out there in the YouTube world, because everybody's going to ask questions, and I can't be sitting there saying, well, I don't watch YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what he said. There are some channels, of course, I do that because I'm not going to go watch them, like I said. But yeah, there's a lot of effort that goes into it. And I do think everybody that has subscribed to me has been fantastic. I really appreciate them. I do. And I've said this many times. I'm humbled that anybody wants to sit here and listen to me beat my gums for, 3 hours or whatever. But maybe I'm taking too much credit. Maybe it's you guys they enjoy seeing, and I know they do. But yeah, it takes time. It's something that you have to put an effort into it. It's not just, let me go turn everything on and jump on YouTube real quick.
Yep.
Amar, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Since you shoot mostly Canon and Sony, that's my understanding anyway.
Yep.
And you don't really have any skin in the game, as they say, regarding Nikon. Being able to sit back kind of like and just look at the Nikon brand, or what's, where they're at, where do you think they do good personally, and where do you think they do bad, and where do they need to make improvements? I mean, do you track them enough to kind of have an opinion on?
I do.
On that?
So I'll give you a little history, right? So I did shoot Nikon for some time, and with their screw mount lenses that they used to have, where you needed the drive to be in the lens and all of that nonsense that they had for so long, and they stuck with that crap for 50 freaking years, right? I walked away from that the moment Canon introduced the EOS line. When they introduced EOS in 87, 88, I just said, you know what, we're done. And at that time, Nikon was pushing out the F3, film cameras, and the F6 is probably one of the most beautiful film cameras ever produced on the face of this planet in 35 millimeter that I've seen. That's modern, right? If you've never shot one, I encourage each and every Nikon user to at least pick up one if you can afford one. Because even now it's pretty expensive. It'll change your mind about what the company is, right? And what they really stood for. And then we all went into the digital realm of things. So the world changed very fast, right? But having said that, I never looked back at Nikon to say, oh, I gotta have it. Because Canon literally just came out like a bulldog and just wiped everything else out. Everything else was just there, in the background. So I'm not saying I made the right choice, wrong choice. I made a choice and I took it forward. So today, when I was telling Chuck, I almost bought that Z7 that day, right? That KEA shot. Apparently it had some issue with it or whatever, so they couldn't sell it to me. And then the other one was like way up there in price, and I'm like, you know what? I'll wait. But I was ready to buy it because I don't know if you know this guy. His name is what the heck is his name? Alex Pham. He's a big Nikon and Sony shooter. So he's completely opposite. So Nikon and Sony, that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
So, but he was able to use that MagDep or that adapter.
Yeah, Megadap. Yeah.
Megadap, that brand. So he got that, and he mounted the 200 to 600 Sony, this lens right here.
And you're going to get everybody in an uproar because everybody's waiting on Nikon's 2 to 600. Yeah.
He mounted this onto the Z9.
Right.
And he was like, man, this thing behaves better than the Nikon Z lenses on there.
Yeah.
With that adapter. So, what is Nikon doing good, and what do they, have as areas of opportunity? I think Nikon needs to really just, get out of their comfort zone and do something a little wild. It's okay.
And this is what I've been harping on lately. It's
know?
time for Nikon to turn over a new leaf and let's quit being so conservative in our thought.
Because if you don't do that now, up until now, if you look, Sony has had no competition in the full frame, none, right? Just 2 years ago when Canon introduced the EOS R, which is up there, everyone laughed. It's not going to do anything. Oh, it's going to do nothing. In 2 years, they got Sony by the balls.
Yeah.
Literally in 2 years, they got them by the balls. And honestly, this here, I handed this to 2 Sony users today, and they were stunned when they looked at the autofocus. They're like, I wish mine did that. I'm like, it doesn't do that. And here's an A7R4 in my hand. No, it does not do that.
Right.
But you don't understand that until you try it side by side yourself.
Right.
And when he tried it, it was just stunned. He's like, I need to look at this again. I'm like, just hang in there. I'm sure Sony will get there. And it's not that they're not there. They're different. The systems are different. And that's what I want to get across to people. A lot of people think that, Canon's better, then next week Sony's better, next week Nikon's better. They're all pretty damn good. Guys, if you can't get even one shot in focus after getting 30 frames per second, you need to find another hobby.
Yeah, I agree.
Seriously.
Take up golf and get more frustrated.
Yeah, you got to go do something else. I mean, the Z9 is awesome, but when I picked it up, man, it makes this one B body look like light.
Yeah,
that thing is heavy, man.
Yeah.
And the one thing I do not like that Nikon did not do on that, you know these FN buttons that are here, buttons that are here. You see how they're here on the vertical. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
There are 2 buttons. They're right here on the vertical too. So when you're shooting vertical, you have the same buttons.
Okay.
They got rid of it on the Z9. Why?
Yeah.
It's just 2 buttons. If you're shooting portraits, I want those buttons. But they got rid of it. You have the Z9, right, Chuck?
Yes.
It's not on there.
They only made it in the vertical mode where you could really comfortably push one button.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's not like it automatically turns into like P1 or domain 1, right? Because when you go to that, it's still number 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that? So those kind of like quirky things, I think, are areas of opportunity for them to think about.
Yeah. Hey, Pooja, I understand completely. It's so much easier just to sing to people and have them appreciate what you're doing than to get into the camera wars. And thank you again for being on camera and talking to us.
It's just too funny. Well, she keeps it exciting. And, the funny thing is she's like, what do you guys get so excited about? It's just the camera. I'm like, yeah, it's just the camera, right? But she doesn't get it because she's not into it. So for her, as long as the image looks good, she's happy.
There you go. Oh, that's another thing for people that are thinking about turning professional as a photographer or whatever. Please don't take your family's like of your photographs and think that that's the general public. too many people wind up with the, my family loves my photography. Well, they're your family.
Yeah.
That's how you end up with so many bad people on American Idol. It's because their friends and family told them they were good.
Yeah. You sound great when you're in the shower.
Yeah.
I go to karaoke 5 times a month, and everyone loves me. It's like they're all drunk. Of course they do.
I will say this: my wife is very honest with me, even about my live streams. She doesn't cut me any slack, so don't think that I'm getting the "oh, you were wonderful." No, I got a comment on one of my first live streams. The guy said, "I left because you put me to sleep." I said, "Did you see that comment that the guy left?" He said, "No, I was asleep."
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny.
But she's first to tell me, "No, I don't like that. I don't like that." Oh well. But anyway, yeah, don't let your family drive you into a failing business, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, the funniest thing is if you look at some of the most famous YouTubers, right? But most YouTubers that are coming on today, they're usually pushed on by friends and family to say, you would be awesome at this. And it's the same thing, right? And they all get on there, and then you look scratching your head looking at that video because the guy's like, oh, hold on, let me find it in the menu. You know what? Let's just forget about that one. Have you seen those tutorials that they do where they'll sit there and say, this one, I never use that, so I'm just going to skip that.
Yeah. Thanks for the tutorial.
I mean, what the hell?
They didn't read that page of the manual, so they don't know what it does anyway.
Is this like a tutorial for you or for the general public? If it's for the general public, you got to tell them, I don't use this, but let me show you what it really does.
Just learn as you go.
So Roy Bigsby's a commercial shooter, shooting product photography and things like that.
He shoots that little GFX wannabe full medium format. Watch him get upset now. We love
there you go. So I guess my wife's in good company when she does it to me.
She does. She is very critical, and
what you need that honest criticism though. You do.
It's hard to swallow it though, man.
Oh, it is, especially from somebody that doesn't know which way to point the camera. I'm listening to her, but she said, I don't have to take a photo to know whether
I'll tell you one thing, Chuck. I took the R6 one day and I gave her a lens on it and she started shooting with it. She's like, this is fun, right? Because it's so easy. It does everything for you. And those shots actually look better than what I would have done with that same situation. So, there's something that, so I'll say this, and this is not a sexist remark. It's not geared towards one gender or the other. Women have a very different eye for the same thing than men do. I'm sorry, but they do. Even for birds, they do. Yeah. Right. And I think we need to encourage women to actually, come shoot with us more. Right. So we can get that perspective and actually make our photography better.
So is this true?
Actually, it taught me a lot of things, actually. So I will say one thing, and a lot of this credit goes to Long Rider, that's Jeff. So initially, it was hilarious. Pooja would come up there and say, who are you arguing with? And I'm like, Jeff. He's like, you argue with him more than you argue with me. I'm like, it's true. Actually, it was true. So initially, we got to the point where he understood where I'm coming from, and I understood where he's coming from. Yeah. So let me explain that today, if Jeff is okay with doing that today here, because I think this is a real life story of many years.
Well, before you start that, I opened it up. You weren't here yet, and I talked about you're a big Canon shooter, and you used to argue and slam Sony. Now, I don't mean the camera company, but the Sony fanboys.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I thought, wow, man, I remember those videos.
Yeah. So again, I bought into Sony when people would be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm like, this looks cool. I'll get it. I know it sucks, but I'll still use it. And their initial offerings from mirrorless, they're terrible. They were so subpar and terrible, it wasn't even funny. Right? But now where they are, they had no competition for so long. Right. So they really, really had a lot of time to fix a lot of the things. But the best part is they actually listened and they fixed them. Yeah. Right. So there's every complaint that I had when I got this A9 II, it doesn't have any. You guys have seen those videos. Yeah. But prior to that, oh, this is messed up. Oh, that's messed up. Oh, this is messed up. That's messed up. So they're continually making that difference. But having said that, between Jeff and I, we would go at it. So one day he asked me a question. I asked him the same question right back. It's like, so is Sony paying you a paycheck? And he goes,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
So he asked me, he's like, is Canon paying you a paycheck? I'm like, no. He's like, then why do we care what the heck they think of what they're going to do? I'm like, you know what? You got a great point.
Yeah.
And that was really the point to literally do ceasefire on the war, to say, you know what? I see your point.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day. So when you look at what you have today in front of you, like I just mentioned, if within 20 to 30 frames per second, you can't get one good shot, you need to find another career. Something's
I
wrong.
agree.
Well,
I agree.
or you need glasses.
I hope you're able to see when you push the shutter button.
Yeah.
What it is they didn't read the manual. They didn't adjust the diopter.
Hey,
Honestly, you may not even need eyesight anymore. The Z9 did everything for me today. It was
even in the dark, right? Even in the dark.
It was working so good that my composition was terrible. It's like I'm forgetting how to do photography because this is doing everything else.
You got it.
And so I'm gonna have to like pull back, because see, like that's why I like film, because it's really I like film sometimes because it's slow and every shot matters, and you end up with like, I can't believe I got that. It's great. But like with all this modern stuff, I'm gonna really have to pull back and like limit the Z9 in order to maintain my skill. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
let me stop for a second. It's time, because I'm going to get in trouble again. My wife's going to be all over me. You didn't say this again, so she's all about. You got to tell people, please subscribe and drop a like or like it if you're enjoying it.
Please subscribe.
So let me say that, but I also want to plug you, Amar, you, Zach, and you, Jeff. You know, all four of us have channels on YouTube, and if you haven't checked out any one of us, well, obviously you've seen me if you're here and hearing this, but if you haven't been over to, I know a lot of you are here from Amar's channel, and I definitely appreciate that. But if you enjoy it, you know, consider subscribing.
Yeah,
Same thing with Zach. If you haven't been over to Zach's channel, check it out. And again, if you like what you see, subscribe. Right. Same thing for Mr. Jeff. And Jeff's YouTube channel is Selective Imagery. So, you know, check him out. And, you know, this is what we need to do as small channels, is kind of lift each other up, because the big channels definitely take care of themselves.
So you bring up a really good point, right? Think about why are we four here right now? And what are we saying? Are we at each other's throats?
No.
We're not. No. You shoot Nikon, you shoot Nikon, you shoot Nikon, I shoot something totally different.
Yep.
And we're still talking to each other.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So, Zach, when we shot film, did we have this kind of hostility?
No. I think people enjoyed photography a lot more back in those days. Now it's like people like, they just like stuff, man.
Yeah. And I think we're onto something with this live stream to take this forward.
Yeah.
The only way to really dissolve sort of what you don't want to see from a lot of these big channels is to have smaller channels get together and actually put a new way of thinking in front of everyone.
It's like the old saying: if you don't like how somebody's doing it, then do it yourself. Right. You know, start your own.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, I did a stream not too long ago, Amar, and it was fanboyism. Is it the same as brand loyalty? Right. You know, and I say no. I mean, you can be loyal to your brand, enjoy it. That's what you want to shoot, but you don't have to be one of these fanboys that's going on every other channel attacking them because they shoot Sony or they shoot Canon or Fuji. Mm-hmm. Why is it we do that today?
Got me.
Because people like to complain, and they like conflict for whatever reason. Makes them feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does. It sells on YouTube. The drama sells.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm talking.
You're gonna like this, Amar. You talked about. I bought this about a week ago, and I won't say how old I am, but I'm older than you are.
Okay.
I bought this a week ago, and I'm gonna hold it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I shot my first ever roll of 120 film today. And I had the most fun pulling out an old light meter and using it because this doesn't have a light meter in it. And even if it did, it wouldn't work anymore anyway because it'd be too old. But just like I don't work too good anymore because I'm too old too. I got an old Minolta that I use.
I have that same light meter, by the way.
Yeah,
I've got a light meter on my phone.
Yeah, it works. That's pretty close actually.
Yep.
And I had so much fun with this puppy. I got 5 more rolls sitting on my table, ready to get shot.
Maybe the next live stream we do, Chuck, I'll pull out all of the film that I have in the refrigerator and I'll show you. Some of it is stuff that you might want to actually shoot, Jeff. And if you're up for it, I might actually send you a pack of it so you shoot it.
Thank you.
You can't buy it anymore. You cannot buy 120 the original Across anymore.
I was just thinking maybe I turn the reins over to my wife one night and Pooja can be on your channel and they can sit down in there and tell us how bad we actually are.
Absolutely. That would be great.
Here's a cool.
Hey, we can do a guys' night out and we could do our own somewhere else and they can do their own hair.
Check this out. Do you guys remember seeing that little documentary of Steve McCurry shooting the last roll of, I think it was Kodachrome. I think it was the final roll of Kodachrome, and Kodak or somebody gave it to him. There's only one place where you can get it processed now, and it's actually right here in Kansas. It's called Dwayne's Photo.
No, I heard about that. As a matter of fact, Lee Rothman was talking about that the other day on the phone.
Yeah. I want to go. It's in Pratt, which is actually not a ridiculous drive away. I'm gonna go check it out one of these days. But I guess it's the only place that has a functioning setup to process that last roll of Kodachrome, and so that's where he had it done at. Yeah, that's what Lee was telling me, and they're soon to give it up. I think they're soon to quit doing that for some reason. He was telling me, and I think he. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure he took the last roll to his favorite place, which was I think it was India. He went back to India and shot that last roll of Kodachrome.
Yep, he did.
Yeah. And no, I did not shoot ospreys with that camera. not with a maximum shutter speed of 1/500th of a second. It ain't gonna do it.
Each picture costs you about $5, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a friend that recently inherited his dad's old Yashica TLR, and he's been buying the chemicals and doing his own black and white developing. So he's going to do some of mine for me, and I'll pay him for it, or I'll take him out for dinner or whatever. And so we're going to have fun. Actually, we're going out tomorrow morning to do some street photography with our TLRs. So it's going to be a fun day.
Hey, Amar, so you know, Terry Breedlove is a big film shooter, does his own developing, has an enlarger and prints, black and white. Yep. But recently he took a kayak trip and it didn't go so well.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm happy he's okay because the kayak tipped over. He lost his Hasselblad and his Nicomat and his glasses. So
what did you have? The 500 CM? Is that what you shot?
Hang on, I know he'll jump in here and tell us what it was, but I was just glad to know that he was happy. Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you something, Terry. That'll make you feel better in a second.
He's going to pull out his perfectly fine Hasselblad.
It's a very rare piece to get it in this condition. This was bought at an estate sale, so it's really rare to be able to get. Let me get it open.
The anticipation is killing me.
So this thing doesn't even have a scratch on it. This is the original Japanese leather case.
I wish camera companies would still put out such beautiful packaging.
It's
man,
heavy.
so let me put it down. Brand new.
That thing is like reflecting light off of it like crazy right now.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh, what a monster.
That's
So,
look at
so
the
when we complain about the 1D being big, stop complaining, guys. This makes the Z9 look pretty light.
Yeah.
There probably ain't no
It's
plastic
long.
except the lens
Long.
cap in that thing.
So this is the legendary lens that you always see, right? The 105 2.4.
Wow.
And I can maybe point it here, and you can get an idea. It's in mint condition.
It looks it.
This set, if you pick up something like this in this condition today, probably close to $2,000. And it didn't even cost $2,000 when it was new.
Wow.
Right?
So now let me ask you the question. All the Nikon shooters. Do you think your Z9 after 50 years is going to be worth $2,000?
No, sensors and
No.
megapixels deteriorate over time.
That tells you clearly where you should be investing in if you are a collector. It's this.
I can't afford to be a collector, Amar. I would love to, but I've got to sell off, some calves to buy more cows, man.
So you guys know what I sold off, right? To get the R7. I had to be very disciplined. So this was the deal. My wife is like, you have so many cameras. I'm like, okay, great. I'll get rid
Never
of
heard
2.
that before.
I got rid of 2 for 1, So,
okay.
And it's hard for me because,
You do know she's listening to this, right?
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah.
She's writing everything down, word for word.
As long as that shelf gets lighter, she's okay with it.
Okay.
But nonetheless, she usually doesn't bother too much. But for me, I think I have to become kind of. I know Jeff called me he's a hoarder. I'm more like a collector, but he goes, no, you're a hoarder. I'm like, maybe you're right.
Look behind me.
So this comes back to the story I was going to tell you about Jeff and I, right? So when we did that day when we said, okay, fine, we're going to get to the point now. Oh, Mother, there go empty boxes.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, Pooja, my wife asks me about that all the time. I can't throw a box away if a camera or a lens came in it.
I have all of them. So when I sent it to KEH, they're like, you have this for it? You have that for it? You have everything for it? I'm like, yeah, it's like it came from Canon.
Why is that not common? Of course.
It's not. I guess people just don't do that anymore.
I don't even open all the things in the box because I already have those things to use. Like
I can't
tell you
one camera strap yet.
I can't tell you how many of those little tethering clips for the cables when you leave. Like I've got so many of those in my box. I have a box closet that everything's in. I got so many like Nikon straps and stuff.
All these guys on YouTube, like even Steve Perry, all those guys do it. But Jeff, you got some back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I know what it's like to pay $1,200 for a Carl Zeiss 85 1.4 planar and it show up wrapped up in like a bubble wrap with tape with like chicken grease paw marks on the front element. It's like, that's why I keep the box, pristine condition with a little duck oil just spread across the front,
That's funny. So the story is the attachment, right? So you made a video about fanboyism versus people that are truly
just brand loyal. Yeah.
So fanboyism, I think, has grown. It's more like a YouTube thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen it too much in real life, right? When we go out and shoot, I was at Canon and Go. It's not like, I got Sony, screw you. No one's doing that.
You're absolutely right. It's funny. It's the keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Exactly. Keyboard warriors. Yeah. So Jeff had a really hard time. He's like, so what is it with these DSLRs that you can't get rid of? So I'm sitting there going, I'm like, how do I explain this to him? For the last 35 years, what is that attachment? I used to shoot with my dad, right? On these things. So these things have like inherent, memories attached to them and the film cameras that I have. Yeah. So when people are like, well, you're hoarding, I'm not hoarding. These are memories that are preserved of that, and they're never going to make those again. And now he's almost 80 years old at this point. He obviously can't, shoot as much and doesn't shoot at all. But it makes me who I am. And it's not because, Canon made the best camera in the world. It had nothing to do with that. If it was Nikon, it would be the same thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't
look,
matter.
you're absolutely right. And there are people that collect all sorts of things. You know, what's wrong with collecting? If you can afford to do it, it's kind of like people, you know, here you go. Here's another one. I'll get us going on this one too. If you want financial help, go to Nikon Rumors and just talk about you're buying this new camera that's coming out sight unseen, because the very first question is, do you need it? Well, why does there have to be a need for a camera? You know, nobody needs a Ferrari, but you know what? They sell a bunch of them because people want them.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're a struggling photography business, yes, you need to justify every purchase you make. I understand that. But there are more hobbyists shooting today than there are professionals, and hobbyists have money to spend. Why is it I always get asked, do you need it? And then, you know, can you afford it? Well, if I couldn't, I wouldn't be getting it, would I? You know? But if you need financial advice, just go over there and say you're going to buy a certain camera, and they're going to come out of the woodwork. Do you need it? Can you justify it? Yeah, I want it. That's my justification.
Sure.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're spot on. And everyone's situation is different. So, you know, that's what I tell people. It's like, don't do what I'm doing. Do what you need to do, what makes sense for you, right? And the faster you understand on where you're going with what you're buying and what you're doing, the happier you're going to be. Now, do I make impulsive decisions sometimes? Sure, we all do, right? I mean, we all do. It's okay. As long as you're not, you know, putting your family on the street by not giving them any food, don't do that.
Right? You're exactly
I would
right.
put my family on the street in a heartbeat.
I always make that statement too. You know what? If you can afford it, meaning you can pay your bills and take care of your family or whatever, then by all means, you know, why even ask? If you want to get it.
So my thing was, if I'm getting the R7, I'm getting rid of something of equal value. And it happened to be two of those cameras. So it was the 7D Mark II and the 5DS. I said, I don't need those. 32 megapixels equates to 85 megapixels. 7D Mark II, wildlife type of camera. Get rid of both of those, and I'll get one of these. And that was it. That was the decision making behind it. That's it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Leave him alone, Pooja. He's normal. I know you don't think so, but he's normal.
What is she saying? I can't see it. Why am I not able to read these?
You're not seeing the chat?
I only see what's up, everyone, from SJ Square. After that, I don't see anything.
Oh.
You don't see all the where she's saying how she's looking up a list of psychiatrists for you?
Is she? Oh, no, I didn't see any of that. Oh, that's.
I'm only kidding about that. She didn't write that.
She probably is doing that.
But now I gave her an idea, so you're in trouble.
I will say this: she's very active in the chat, and I love that.
Hey, look, we got. I see Mike Lynch here.
Yes, Mike Lynch is here. So a lot of new names for me, and I appreciate you guys coming over.
Great. Yeah, Mike's here. Yeah, we can talk through the R7, right? What is it? How did it really do? Is my lighting like getting darker?
Okay,
here. Let me thank my sponsor. Hold on.
While we're doing this,
there you go. All right.
While we're doing the sponsors and all that, if you could give that Canon camera a sniff for me, I'd really appreciate it. I'm considering buying one.
Maybe we should have Pooja do it. Does it smell new? Yes, it does. Let me get some batteries in here, and then we'll actually talk about the R7.
All right. So, hey, Zach, tell us about your first experience with the Z9.
Well, it's kind of really insane because I've always said that I don't need all of these crazy like focus kind of things because like even with mirrorless, I still focus and recompose just as much as I move the joystick around to all 400, 500 points or whatever, just because it's what I'm used to and it works. And so I've always said that, like, you know, the cloud tracking and orangutan recognition or whatever they put into these things, it's all kind of like a gimmick, and it doesn't work that good on the Z6 or whatever. And so I've always kind of it's just a way to sell cameras. On the Z9, it's honest. Like, it's honest. All of these things actually work that I've used so far. I have a lot to go through before I can really have a real opinion on it. But so far, it's heavy, but it's oddly comfortable. And even with my smaller hands, like, it feels like it doesn't fit in my hand, but it kind of magically does, as if by sorcery. It just feels good. And it's been really, really fun. And I'm having an even better time experiencing all the BS that everyone talks about it. I'm like, that's a non-issue. Oh, I remember them saying this. That's a non-issue. It's like, oh, well, the electronic shutter, is it loud enough? It's like, I mean, how deaf are you? It's right by your face. You know, it was pretty loud today. And so it's almost as fun learning the camera as it is like trying out all these things that like everyone was upset about. And I'm just like, how silly the world has become, you know? It's such a high performer, and just like anything you buy today. And yeah, I'm having fun with it so far. I have actually 20 shoots booked to test out different features of it.
Just remember how tough it is to open the card door, though.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
That's a reason to not buy it.
You need 3 guys and a jackhammer.
I've almost got it with 2 fingers. I've almost got it.
Hey, Amar, I got to run to the little boys' room. I'm sitting there like a 5-year-old in a grocery store with Mama, shaking my legs here. I'll be right back.
Chuck, you cannot have any candy. Put it back.
He's gonna come back with cookies.
He always comes back with snacks every time he goes to It's like his wife is constantly baking. Every time she's like, yo, you go to the bathroom? When you go back, I got cupcakes this time.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm trying to actually fix this thing on the share, because I wanted to actually be able to share with you guys the actual files from just today. I haven't even done anything to them. So that way you can see it right in real time. Okay, what did it say to do? Security and privacy under
preferences. Under your system preferences.
It's asking me, but it's asking me to do that under Safari for some reason.
Oh, do you have boy, oh boy, what in the heck do they call it? Maybe you have security settings on Safari where it doesn't want to let you do stuff on unknown sites or some weird thing like that.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to get to. I don't even see security, and I see security. No, that's not it. It's not in there. It's private window. Services, preferences, privacy report. Yeah, we gotta figure this out somewhere.
I just want everybody that's watching, that's considering starting a YouTube channel, that I've been doing this the entire time, and this stream currently, where's the time? It has been running for 1 hour and 45 minutes. So besides driving with gas $5 a gallon to the event, shooting for 3 hours, I just did 1 hour and 45 minutes of note taking. I haven't even started editing.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's tough, man. It's a lot of work. It's fun though. It's fun though. If you start a YouTube channel and it's a drag, just stop, because it gets worse the bigger and the more you want to do. If you don't enjoy it, man, just cut your losses.
So I'll answer Robert's question. He's asking about high ISO. So Robert, I'll share it this way. maybe I could show it on the back of the screen. Want me to do that?
Sure.
Because it's not letting me share this thing. I'll put the card back in here.
Hello, Ronald Pollard. How you doing, buddy? Mr. Pollard.
I can't let Jeffrey be a liar.
Oh, there he
You can't
goes.
stop that.
He's got a sweet tooth.
He's doing his Homer Simpson impersonation. Donut. Oh, donuts.
So we were fascinated with how many shots you can take and all that, right?
All right.
Oh, buddy.
No, it's going to be difficult, I think.
Okay.
I hear. Yep, he came back with snacks. What did we tell you?
Yeah, he's got a donut, man.
I gotta feed the machine.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just can't see it.
Can you
For
see
me,
it now?
for me, it looks like he overexposed it. It's just white.
Can you see this a little bit here? That's
Nope.
the bird, that black little thing.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so I'll just keep going. Watch this. So you get an idea. You see something moving right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Barely.
It's still in the same shot. I'm still holding.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it blinking as it goes to
Yeah,
from
moving
that-
around.
frame to frame.
That's the
Yeah.
bird. That's the bird.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Every single one is razor sharp. Went up, went down, went up, went down, went up, went down, went up, went down. That was all one shot, one burst, and it stops there.
Huh.
So if you need more than that, then something's really wrong.
Yeah.
Because here, actually, we can do this. Oh yeah, okay, Sony. Let's not go there about the screen. Canon screen, double tap. I can see the fish and the bird right in there.
Yep.
I can bring it up here.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice
Yeah.
fun. Nikon same way. Double tap the screen or pinch to zoom and all
Yeah, we
that.
can
Yeah.
do all of that. There you go. All of
Yeah. Yeah.
Sony boy, are you listening?
But you know, like my thing with like the
Yeah, we just got done
insanely-
saying how nice we were about everybody.
Oh, we are. That's that's friendly love.
Friendly love.
So there was one in here that I was talking to you guys about where the blue heron actually went after the cormorant and they were actually fighting. I've never seen that before. It actually knocked that thing silly, man. It went way underwater, and then it came back fighting again.
Yeah, I mean the blue heron should win that fight every day of the week with the long beak.
Yeah.
You know, the cormorant just has that relatively short beak with the curve on the one side, but
Right. You'll see, like you got cormorants grabbing fish that are so big, so much bigger than them. Look at this. You
yeah,
can see how big that fish is. You can't even see the face of that thing. The fish is
Yep.
bigger than it. So they're getting excited there. But I don't even know how many I shot. Over 1,000 shots today. No issues. Probably missed maybe about 5 or 10. And that was because I was just running and just moving it. If I would have taken a gimbal, I would have probably gotten them all shot, with no issues. But I was shooting at ISO 1600, 3200 at the shutter speed of 3200 of a second, 1/3200 of a second to 1/4000.
that's the magic number, 3,200.
And then that's putting the 800 f11 on there. So shooting at f11, yes, f11. And with the 1.6 crop, it puts you at 1280. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Handheld. Oh, by the way, I got good video too. God, I wish I could share so I could show you video out of it. Because everyone's worried about 422, 10 this, 10 that, and all that stuff, right? And you can see it actually 10-bit 422 4K 60 out of that. It looks pretty awesome. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, and that's the thing that, everybody better get used to it because video is here to stay. I keep preaching that too, but it's so true. You're not selling cameras without video in it. The exception would be because there are still some holdouts that want another DF, Nikon DF. And I understand why, but I don't know that the need or the desire is great enough for Nikon to do that, and especially not right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be selfish again and say that's not the camera to get out right now, but video is it.
Well, what
Just
does
like-
what does it
but
make
this
you
is-
feel? Well, how does
Huh?
that make you? How does it make you feel like every camera that you're buying today, 60 to 70% of that camera is geared towards video, and if you're a photographer, you're paying for things you'll probably never use.
And
How
that's
does
what
that-
everybody complains about. But, you know, if you want your company to stay in business, they have to sell to the masses, not any
Yeah.
one individual or any small slice of the pie.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but how many things in life are unfortunate? I don't want to pay taxes, but,
Oh,
but you know,
like when
it's
they
one of
add
the things I-
safety, they add safety features to a car, so your car slows down
Yeah.
with your cruise control, and you can set it for 2
Yeah.
car lengths or 3 car lengths or whatever, and it
or
slows
order
down.
a car today without air conditioning.
Did I need that? No. Did I pay for it? Yeah, I didn't have a choice. I had to pay for it. That's just the
Yeah.
way it is, right?
Order a car today without power steering, or order it without air conditioning because I don't use it. Why should I have to pay for it? But I understand what you're saying, Amar, and I know a lot of people use that too. And I understand how they feel, but you know, a company has to stay afloat. And if you like the cameras, if you like the stills ability in the camera,
Right.
then you're going to have to pay for the video to go along with it, because that's really what's moving the merchandise today.
So I will share this with you, right? I don't know how Nikon is. I'm sure it's pretty good. But
What do you mean
what-
pretty good? Ho, ho, ho. What do you mean pretty good?
Oh, ooh,
No, I'm just kidding, man. Go ahead.
oh, ooh. Where's
I
my
had to throw it in
torch?
there.
Where's my pitchfork? Where's my torch?
Shun the non-believer.
Hold on, let me get Pooja to come back. No, seriously. So I'm sure they're pretty good, but you know, with Canon, it's very easy. Where the heck did I put it? It's here. What they did on this camera is what they did on the R5C, right? And I wish they would have done this sooner, because you know, when you're in video mode and you push this button to start, in the stills mode shooting pictures, and you push this to start recording the video, it works fine. But the beauty is on this, what they did is they put the rocker here. You can see how fast this thing starts up. Watch this. Once it starts up, it's already up. It's ready to go. I can start shooting. Oh, I got to open this lens. This lens is different, but it's ready to go. Nothing's stopping it to go. But
Are you talking on, off, or switching from stills to video?
Now I'm going to show you that too. So now it's in stills.
Yeah.
To move it to video, like true video functions, not like, you know, some cooked up like program mode, right? That's what
Right.
it goes into. I'm in video now, instantaneously, and I go right back to stills. It's instantaneous. It's not like the R5C where it takes 8 seconds.
Right.
It's like
Well, Nikon's
instant.
had that for a while. Yeah, same thing. And a lot of people, you know, were complaining. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Donut went down the wrong way there.
The Z9 is instantaneous. Is just like that.
Yeah, you
Okay.
flip the switch and you're
There we go.
from one mode to the other.
Here we go. Ready? That's
Yeah.
photo, and video. Done.
And then go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, go back here. Yeah, we can
Yep.
do that. Back to photo,
So there's no lag.
video.
It's
No.
instantaneous. Perfect.
And I know that there were people that were talking about that with the Canon R5C. However, you know what? I'm going to give them a pass. You know why?
Well, it's got a completely different menu system.
Yes. Okay.
This
so
does not have that. Yeah.
Right. And I'll give them a pass on that.
Right. But I like this because I did that today while I was shooting stills, and I just moved it, shot
Yep.
the video, came right back, and it was good to go.
Yep.
So this is on the A7R4, same deal.
And it doesn't go, you know, on the Nikon, it doesn't go to a completely separate new menu, but it goes to the menu features for video,
Uh-huh.
you know, your settings and everything.
Yeah, you
Hey, let me
see,
ask
you
you-
set up what you like ahead of time, and it just stays there.
Jeffrey will be right back.
So this is the A7R4. You can see the bird probably on there.
Yep.
It zoomed in all the way, but you can see how Oh, maybe you can't. You can see how small it is,
Yeah.
and there it is. That's 61 megapixels at work.
Yep.
It's razor sharp.
So let me ask you this. You know,
Uh-huh.
there are a lot of people, even in the Nikon camp right now, there are people that want to, and look, I'm not an advocate of it, but you know, if Nikon wants to do it and give people what they want, so be it. But talking about high megapixel camera. Now I'm not talking 61 megapixel. I'm talking up around the 100 megapixel
Yep.
range. Canon and Sony have been toying with that. The
Yep.
sensor's there, I think.
Yep.
And they've been toying with it. You know, so I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm not buying that camera. But there are a lot of people out there, product photographers and portrait photographers, landscape photographers that would like to have it.
Sure. Yeah.
How do you feel about going to 100 megapixel?
I use the 61 a lot. I used
Yeah.
to use the 5DS a lot too for shooting events, right?
Yeah.
The reason why is, so I'll give you an example. I shot Miss India, right? Which is for the Washington, D.C. area. It's a big deal, right, to shoot that. And when you have 30, 40 people up on a stage and
Yeah.
you photograph that, it gives you that ability to pick just these 5, make an image, pick the 5 in the middle and 5 on the right if you want, or you can do the whole thing if you want. So it has its advantages, but if you're shooting like a product, for example, and you need a lot of resolution in one particular area, that's where, you know, something like A7R4, 5DS have been going neck to neck with medium format, right? Because typically for product photography, you'll see medium formats used a lot.
Yeah, Roy shoots product photography.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So yeah, so you use that a lot because you need it, right? You need those kind of things. But the problem with taking a 24 by 36 sensor and putting something like 100 megapixels, even the 61 that's on here,
Yeah.
you have limitations and you need to understand what they are. And number one, the first thing you need to understand is you better not put crappy glass on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You better not, because it's the same thing with the Z9. You can't be putting like 30-year-old Nikon lens on there and be like, oh yeah, it's going to run this. No, it's not. That lens is so freaking outdated. Don't even put it on there. You're wasting time.
They max out anything in the D series and earlier. Did they max out like 24 megapixels? Like
Sure.
That's it.
Sure. And for that time, it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But where we are today, not so much, right? I mean, like if you take that 600 f4, which is up top, yeah, sure.
Okay, so you know, and here's where the debate begins. You know what? I don't have a problem with it if they want to have a camera that is 100 megapixel. I understand that there are lots of crippling effects of a 100 megapixel camera on a 35 millimeter sensor. I get that,
right?
But you know, I'm not going to argue with people and tell them you don't need that if that's what they want. Now, you know, in my Nikon camera roadmap, I you know, discussed how they can do that, and it's not going to affect everybody. What I don't want is for Nikon to do that in a camera that's supposed to be the all-around camera.
Yeah, I would be shocked if that would be an all-around camera at 100 megapixels.
I agree, but there are people that are still, you know, fantasizing that that's what the mini Z9 will be. No, I don't even think it'll be 61 megapixels. But anyway, my point is that I don't care if Nikon does that. I mean, that's not the camera to drop next, definitely. Right. But if they want to do that, that's fine, because you go to the rumor sites, you go to the forums, and everybody's saying, you know, no, Nikon doesn't need to do that. Well, who am I to say to deny you what you want?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, there's, you know, my thing is for like the super high megapixels, what people don't realize is that with modern cameras, there's guys out there that have been, you know, doing their own work shooting and editing for a long time, and they're now having to outsource their retouching and like beauty photography because the resolution is so high that it's starting to become a specialty to fix that. So like even with like 61 megapixels, I'd love to see the fantasized Z8, whatever. I'd love to see it at 61, but you need to realize that for portraits, you're getting out there. It's not like 100 megapixels on a Fuji. The sensor is that dang big.
Right.
You know,
Your
as
pixels.
good as the technology is getting, we're still not to the point where a 61 megapixels is the great all arounder.
Right.
mhm.
You know, there are limitations that you're going to have to accept that come with a higher megapixel. We all know that.
Right.
They are getting better with the noise on higher megapixels, though. It's getting there,
No,
but it's not there
you're
yet.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And now we're going to
Mhm.
talk about computational photography, where the AI and the camera is
Right.
beginning to take over a lot of this, which I'm not opposed to either. You
I
know,
turned it all off.
for those that complain, well, do you need a camera that does it all for you? Well, you know what? Hey, now that you mentioned it, why not? I still have to compose it, you know, the scene. I still have to set the exposure. I still have to decide what depth of field I want in the thing. So this goes back to Joe McNally when asked that question, do you miss the film days? Oh, hell no, he says. You know, he's embracing the technology. And he said, if you'd have given me this camera back in 1970, you think I would have thrown it in the garbage? Are you crazy? You know, there was no, hey, I don't want any more technology in cameras.
Right.
I understand that some people hold on to the nostalgia of it, and that's fine. Okay. But they try to dictate to us what we need. And I don't think that's fair. So if Canon comes out with a 100 megapixel sensor, you know, I don't know whether you'd be interested in it or not, but you know, I know that's going to happen sooner rather than later. Sony's going to do
I don't
the
know.
same thing.
So I'll share this with you, right? I had the 5DS. It
Mhm.
was a one of a kind. So Sony came out with the A7R, and then the war started, right? It's like, here's a 5DS, and it held its ground for a long time until Sony came out with the A7R4. The A7R4, when it initially came out, the files were very hard to deal with. You know, and even today, if you don't understand how to shoot it right, you're asking for trouble, right? And when I go ahead and actually do the Miss India video that you'll see coming out this week,
Okay.
you'll be able to see the A7R4 and its power, right? On what you can do with it. Having said that, you guys know I got the R5.
Yep.
I got the R5 and the R6, and guess what? The 5 went back, and the 6 stayed.
Huh.
That should tell you something,
Yeah.
right? And the A7R4 came. The high megapixel. I don't want to go back into a sensor war thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Sony has one of the best sensors in the business. Period. There's no argument there. Right.
Well, let me clarify before you go further, and I want you to continue that thought. But when you say that, are you talking about their developed sensor or the sensor, the wafer itself?
Their developed sensor.
Because
The
we're
overall,
talking,
the overall piece. Because even when you look at the A1, you look at those type of cameras, the results that you get if you put the right glass, it all comes back to the same thing, right glass. Same thing with the Z9. If you pair it with the right glass, you will have incredible results. Incredible. And I wish I could get Alex Pham to actually join one of us in here one night and have him show you the 600G master lens, the 600 f4 on the Z9, and your hair will fall out. You know, just to look at how incredible it looks.
It already did. Already did.
No, but it looks awesome. There is a penalty paid for where, you know, resolution has, you know, certain. Up until about a year ago, there were a lot of penalties paid. When Topaz denoise came out, initially I tried it. It was a gimmick. It really was gimmicky at first. It wasn't that good. Then 6 months into it, I tried it again. They sent me a trial, and they said, okay, 247 Media Group, if you want to try it, I'll give it to you for 1 year free. Yeah. I'm like, really? So they gave it to me for a year for free. And then guess what I did? I paid the $100, and actually I renewed it. Why? Because the software today has gotten so good that I can take a 61 megapixel file here, and you can't see any freaking noise anywhere on the screen.
No, and that's a good point, because there are people that can't live with noise no matter what, and they're not going to use third-party software to get rid of it.
Just do it.
I haven't tried it.
I'm a believer.
Tried it.
I would love for you to take those Z9 files that are underexposed like that, and bring them up to whatever level you want in Lightroom. Knock yourself out with the sliders.
Yeah.
And edit. Just go download a free version of Topaz Denoise and just.
I have it. I became a believer.
Yeah.
See, I need to try it because I say all of the time, like the reason I say all the time that like you shouldn't hate noise like I do, because I'm unreasonable with how much I hate noise, because the way I shoot, like my style, so to speak, is ultra clean, ultra punchy, ultra contrasty. That's like my edits, And so I would actually like to try it on some of these that I shot today, because I just threw it in auto ISO because I was move. And some of them are at 25,600. I would throw those out.
And I used to be just like you, Zach. Not too long ago, I used to be the same way. I got to get it right in the camera, man. It's got to look right. And I'm sitting there going, why am I killing myself when we know, when you look at photos to photons, those sites very carefully, up to 6,400, all of these cameras, they're pretty much the damn same. Right. So it doesn't matter what the brand is. So what are we crying? Why are we still stuck on 1,600?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, first of all, I don't care what people say about noise in my photos. Pound sand. Everybody else likes it. You don't. Okay, I get that. Right. I don't have a problem with it. But then again, I'm not shooting commercially. Okay. And I understand when you're doing that, you've got all the graphics people there, a director there, and they're all looking at this and they're used to looking for those things or whatever. I get that. Hey, by the way, Pooja, you can't get answers from him at home.
I'm keeping secrets.
You don't help your wife. You don't answer her questions about natural light versus whatever. I can't believe that, Amar.
Oh, she must have texted me. No, well, oh yeah, she did.
I'm just kidding, Pooja. I think it's great. I love the fact that you're in the chat. That's definitely keeping you.
I can't even see her things on there. I'm up to like where it says Amar. She's a lot prettier from Jeff. That's all I see. Jeff and Leslie.
I don't understand why it's not updating that fast for you. You should have the chat live.
I'm going to send you something, Chuck, that maybe you can present. I'm going to email you back.
All right.
A photo at ISO 6400 shot on the new camera, the R7.
Here's a question for this denoise technology. Does it soften your image when you
do it?
No,
that's why it's amazing. No, if it did, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you need to check it out. As a matter of fact,
if it's that good, why ever control your ISO again? Just pay attention to you.
Thank you.
Well, you almost don't. I don't want to say you don't have to at all, but
I almost did a spoof for April 1st on that. I was going to do a video real quick talking about, hey, late breaking information out there. Nikon Z8 will be out, and they've incorporated third-party denoise. Jeff just doesn't like his place in the lineup, so he goes.
He does this every time. He's so fussy.
I was going to throw the AI, thing in there that, they've incorporated third-party AI into the camera, and you can turn it on or off however you want, but eliminates noise up to 50,000 ISO.
And people would say, how dare Nikon do that?
Yeah.
I used to be afraid to go over.
Have you sent it yet, Amar? I'm looking.
Okay, I'm about to send it right now.
Okay.
I used to be afraid to go over ISO 2000.
We all did.
And now I had some situations with the Z9 where, there's some famous photographers that'll tell you, don't worry about it, because if it's a matter of getting that once in a lifetime shot or not, you don't worry about the noise, you get the shot. Yeah. But I took some pictures at like ISO 12,500, which in my mind is like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why would I ever take a picture at 12,500? And I run it through denoise, and you would think I shot it at ISO 100. That's how good it cleans it up.
Anybody who
they have a free trial. You need to try it, Zach. Try the free trial. But you can present the photo, but it's going to have their copy or whatever, their watermark on it. Yeah. But you can at least see what it does. And I think it's fantastic.
I have a video coming out. Anybody who like 100, how much does it cost you? You said like $100 a year.
$100, 150 if you
$100
want
a
everything.
year.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't want who doesn't want to do that, I do have a video coming up that actually blew my own mind. It took forever to do, but I printed out like 15 photos, and I also took those same photos, and you can actually see at what point with mobile viewing, which is where most people look at it, and at what point in printing that noise is even noticeable, let alone ruins an image.
Yeah.
And it's really high.
6400 when you print it.
You can't even
It's a mute point. It's a mute point.
Yeah,
no, but again, that goes back to my pixel peepers.
Yeah.
You share a photo and they're, well, at 200%, I can see some noise. Well, I don't have anybody that has vision and then they can see something at 200%, first of all.
Yeah,
So,
you ought to see how
most people
how
that look
thick
at my
these
photos
things
in the house don't bring their loop with them. Well, let me check that out.
That's what art critics do. They go up with a thing and like look at the paper and like, this doesn't look like the texture of Hahnemühle.
Yeah.
What people don't seem to get is if you print it, the ink dots will kind of bleed into each other a little bit and smooth things out. It's not going to look, it's going to look better than it looks on your computer screen.
Well,
when you're
now you're talking
there.
a whole, you're talking nonsense. Print. What's that?
Oh, yeah,
why would I print? I can't send it to everybody if I print it.
So,
I'm almost out of wall space. Print your photos.
So,
oh my gosh. Print your photos.
You have living proof in front of you now. A crop body that's resolving as much as 83 megapixels in your hand, 6400 ISO. I have added no extra color to this. All I did was apply just a lens profile and just ran it to Topaz denoise. No additional contrast. Nothing was added. Show them the files, Chuck. You have them.
Yeah, hang on just a second. I'm going to try to bring them up here.
Is this an extension of Lightroom or is it a different software?
It is.
Different software company.
It's a plugin, though.
A plugin.
Yeah.
You can get it from. You could use it from the pull-down menu in Lightroom.
Yep. Sweet. Try it. Oh, dude, you could buy it for $60 until before July 8th.
Buy it. That's a steal.
Buy it. Buy it. You will not regret buying it.
I'm gonna try it for free and then probably end up buying this tonight.
You're in for a treat. You're going to be shocked on what you can do with that. You have a Z9, I assume?
Yeah. I have a Z9 and a Z6 too.
Awesome.
And a ZFC. Awesome.
Yeah, ZFC looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, in Lightroom, you'll just click on photo, edit in, and it'll show up as a line item, and you choose it. That's it. Now, the only thing is, always save delete your original file,
right?
Because what'll happen is denoise will reset all your sliders back to right in the middle.
Right.
Well, that's actually a good thing, because let's say you're adjusting your highlights and you can't quite, you still got a little more to go and you just can't quite get there. You run it through denoise, it sets everything back in the middle. You could slide the slider over a little bit more and cheat. And then it comes out great, and you go, look at that! What a miracle! Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Worst comes to worst. I mean, I literally have like probably 4 terabytes of raw images, just all over the place. So if worst comes to worst, it'd be
just create a TIFF and then send it through 16-bit TIFF, and you should be able to get incredible results from it.
Well, actually, that's actually why I have terabytes and terabytes, because like whenever I save, I keep all my RAWs, I save a TIFF, and then I also save a JPEG because it's much better to just throw it around and show people. TIFFs have a hard time transferring around to things like, my website, important things.
Yeah.
Oy.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I got them. I'm trying to move the whole... I can't get bridge to open on my other monitor. Okay. So we're going to do it another way. Hang on just a second.
Got my dog harassing me here. Bally. So if you see me duck and get up and throw and
That's your cat or dog?
dog.
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 Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Where'd they go? I just saved them. There we go. All right.
Gustavo is in. Hello, Gustavo.
I can't get it it won't enlarge now, but I can share the screen.
There you are. And that's not a crop, guys. That's filling the whole frame right there.
Wow.
That's the beauty of APS-C crop.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I could enlarge, but I can't.
That's 6,400, guys.
It looks great. I mean, on my end, of course, I'm seeing it a lot larger here.
Right. You can see. Can you see how much feather detail there is right by the shoulder there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of noise in there, but nothing distracting to me.
Right. And this is like literally
And
a
if you
30
printed that
second
out, you
edit.
wouldn't see anything. If you printed
Yeah.
that out, you'd see nothing.
Actually, you still have a lot of room. You could sharpen it if you want.
And this, I didn't even do that. After going through Topaz, I just ran it, cleaned the noise, and I just exported, sent it to Jeff and to Max. That was it. That's all I did with both of these. There's another one, 6,400.
I think it looks great, honestly. Looking in the shadow, on the back side or on this side of the rail there, I don't see anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just get Topaz, Ben, and call it a day, man. It's just, yeah.
This is why so many people, I guess, still want an APS-C body,
Yeah.
So,
there's advantages to it. The lenses will be smaller and lighter.
Yeah.
And you'll fill the frame easier. The lens cost will be less.
Yep.
You're just not going to have obviously you're not going to have the resolution,
Here,
but you know what? You're still going to be able to make a darn good print out of it.
Yep. I'm holding 1,280 millimeters like this on one finger. Try it. Try it. So you have this, and I want to show you really for people that are here what 1280 looks like with a 2x on here with a 600 f4.
So how do you like the 2X TC?
Oh, the Canon TCs are awesome.
Yeah. So many people talk about, 1.4 is the way to go. 2X teleconverter.
Get a high resolution camera, call it a damn day. You're good enough.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Here. And that's what 1,200 millimeter looks like with almost 8 to 10 pounds. Well, after all is said and done. I mean, this is without the hood.
Yep.
Now, if we put the hood on.
You put the hood on, you're going to be into your neighbor's house.
Yeah. So now here you are.
Yep.
So there you are.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's the reason everybody's really anticipating this 4.5 from Nikon. Small, lightweight.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not going to be a copy of the 400 2.8 with TC built it, but it's going to be reasonably priced. I know it will. Everybody's, I was talking to Vahagan about that, and he's not so sure I'm correct. I don't think it can be any more than $3,500. That's what the 500 PF cost when it was new.
Yeah.
And Nikon seems to be doing something pretty reasonable with some of their lenses now. Look at the 800 PF. But anyway, I think it'll be less than 3,500. I'm thinking more under $3,000.
Yeah. If it's $3,000 or less, they are not going to be able to keep up with that. That is not going to be able to fly off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now this is one of the indicators. I think I see it as an indicator for that APS-C Pro body, because think about that small, lightweight 400 millimeter lens on an APS-C camera. Now you got a 600 millimeter birding camera that's cheaper and lighter than anything else you can get your hands on.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, quick question for you, Topaz heads. Does it work within Lightroom, or do I drag and drop? Because that's what popped up first.
No.
So you right click on your image.
It'll open up a window.
Right.
It's a plug-in, but it'll open up a window.
Right.
And then you'll just say you can use the default choice that it has, or you can move sliders if you wish to adjust how much noise adjustment there is and how much sharpness adjustment there is, or you leave it at the default. It has a default setting that's automatic that works good 8 out of 10 times.
Right.
Hey, Zach, and I don't want to mislead you. Somebody brought it up, and they're absolutely right. Don't think that you can take a photo. It looks like it was shot with a night vision scope. And recover it. Okay.
No, my first test is 25,600 ISO.
Yeah, well, you know what? That'll work too, unless it's like I said, so pixelated it wouldn't make a newspaper run.
Okay, so
it's not that magic.
In Lightroom, I right click.
And edit in.
Edit in.
Yep. And then pick
Topaz denoise AI.
Yeah. Just click it. Yeah. And the only thing is when you save it in Topaz, after you're done doing what you need to on the bottom right, it'll ask you to save. There's a toggle on the top. Save it back and revert back to the editor. You want to come back to Lightroom. If you want.
It'll save another copy of it that's been noise reduced, and you'll have 2 files in your Lightroom catalog.
Right. You'll always have the original.
You'll always have the original.
Got
plus
it.
the one that got altered.
Right.
So it made a copy. Let's see. Continue with the trial here. Okay.
You're in for a treat, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be shocked. I mean,
not at 25,600 ISO.
You will be shocked.
You'll still be shocked.
This particular
you will be shocked.
She looks like she has a skin condition when it cleans it up.
No,
but that's
probably look more like you took it at ISO 2000, probably.
And she kind of just looks like an oil painting.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But again, how much of a mess was it to begin with?
Oh, I mean, 25,600 worth of a mess.
But see, that's the other thing people talk about. Now, I understand you were probably in light that warranted it, but just to get the shutter speed up, you can be in good light, and just to keep the shutter speed up. And obviously the noise in those photos isn't near as bad.
It was,
I shoot in my basement trying to shoot in the dark, and it's
the lighting. The lighting was so bad that even at a 100 on the shutter, f2.8, I was still over 10,000 ISO. It was horrible.
So are you saying that Sony gave you a bad sensor?
No, it was they just didn't light. They didn't light the. They didn't light this place. Basically, imagine that you're shooting a wedding and a chapel, and they turn the lights down, so it was hyper orange.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgusting.
Well, I'll tell you this seriously. If you want to send us those raw files or whatever you took, I can do it in Topaz for you because I'm probably more affluent with the tool, and send it to Jeff, and then we can send it back to you, and you can take a look. Because some of those sliders do make a difference because you can do. I think it's recover original detail. Yeah, original detail. And it has very different things that you can tailor, and you can see the effects of it right on the screen before you accept it.
Yeah. Well, let me, I'll say this. The fact that I could probably edit this just because it made her skin does look a little funky. It kind of looks like an oil painting, but it is actually kind of usable.
Okay. Right. So here's the other thing. And, if you want to do that with Amar, I think you'll get a better results. Send him a copy and let him talk you through it. because if you go too far with trying to eliminate the noise,
Right.
yes, it just turns into mud. You're
Oh yeah,
absolutely right.
I just went to like 100%. I could
That's
have
why.
I could have done it just a little bit, and
If
it would have
you-
looked. I could have got it to 6400 ISO, looking really
Yeah,
easy.
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny. Look at what Pooja wrote. She's like, birds in our neighborhood are brainwashed to only pose for me. I mean, I sit there for hours waiting for them to do something.
Hey, I have to say this too. Shout out to Pooja, because thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I just saw that notification.
Okay, so here's one at 1250 ISO.
Oh, that's going to be cake. It's going to look like
That's-
almost like
yeah, that'll-
ISO 50 by the time you're done.
Yeah, it's gonna look like nothing. Let's try it.
Yeah, don't fool with the sliders. Just do it automatic.
Yeah, let it read it'll read the photo and make a recommendation. Then you
Actually,
can
these are already like too good. I can't even notice them. Let me find.
I'll
one
tell
that's
you one thing though,
64 or
Jeff.
something.
I've noticed when I had the trial version, it didn't do a good job on all the files. But the moment I paid for it, apparently it started downloading all kinds of stuff. And then
Ooh,
all of
okay.
a sudden, they all started looking good.
Okay, this one here is perfect.
And
All right,
this
let
is
me-
a
let
good
me try.
point too. And this actually is a good point for the Z9, exposing to the right. We're all used to exposing to the left in Nikon,
Right.
but highlight recovery is better than the shadow recovery on the Z9.
Correct. That's your Sony sensor for you.
I try to keep it 3/4 of the way over, roughly.
Yep. You're not going to hurt it. That's a
No.
that's a good sensor in there. You're good to go.
Yeah, those Nikon designs are good.
Hey, whatever works, man.
I don't care if it says Kmart on it, as long as it works.
So
Hey,
long
man.
ride,
Oh, dude.
it
What?
doesn't do me any
Now
good
we're
to
getting
drop these
somewhere.
comments in here because he can't see the comments until well after. But
Well, look. Did Long Rider tell you what he was doing today? He actually trapped a poor little squirrel in a squirrel trap, and he drove that sucker 12 miles away from his house and just released him. Almost like a border patrol guy, catch and release.
Why the squirrel wouldn't be safe
Yeah,
a block
right.
away?
Type in the comments, Long Rider, what you were doing today.
I had squirrels eating my house up and getting in the attic. I'm sorry, Long Rider. I hate to tell you, but I went squirrel hunting. I didn't trap them. They'll no longer chew through my dryer vent.
Yeah, they do eat my bird food, and he didn't like them eating their bird food. But seriously, guys, all cameras they're neck to neck. When we have Topaz denoise, seriously, if you're still arguing about cameras, mine's better than yours, you're really wasting your time. You could be
Yep.
doing so many other things. Go out and shoot instead. It's not
Yeah,
worth it.
exactly. Find
Yep.
the camera that fits your hand, your aesthetics, and grab it
And
and
go.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grab it and go.
Because and you know what? If one camera you feel is better than the other, wait till next year. And that's going to
Exactly.
flip flop.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you
and-
talked about this on the phone, Amar, and you're absolutely right. We're back to the flip flop wars where everybody just piggybacks each other as the year goes by.
Here's the thing, like the fact that people are so interested in if something is better than what they have, don't pretend like you have enough money to jump a ecosystem every time, every time somebody comes out with something that's so marginally better. It's so crazy. It's American consumerism, what it is, dude. People love stuff.
Yeah.
They just want
Yeah.
to look at stuff.
And Roy nails it right there. So Roy, we talk about this on the channel, and we have for many years, and he's been on my channel ever since the beginning, I think. It's all about lighting, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take that back now. As I've matured in photography, yeah, it's all about lighting, but for me, it's all about the shadows. Because if I have on this side, if I have the
Yep.
shadow, it makes it dramatic. It's the absence of light is truly the mastery of light. And that's what people don't understand. A lot of people think I'm going to blast the people and I'm going to make them look like this, like all lit up and everything is going to look awesome. It doesn't. It's not flattering.
No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Now, women love that, and I'm
Right.
not picking on women because flat lighting is fantastic. It just
Right.
hides everything. But you're absolutely right. I like a more dramatic photo. I like seeing contour and things like that in a photo. So yeah, lighting is everything. And if you learn to play with lighting and don't
It
be
becomes
afraid of
fun.
it, I've talked about this. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to show everybody all the mistakes it takes to get to the point where you're absolutely ecstatic with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that's the fun, playing with lighting.
Yep. And if you go to the website, like 247 Media Group's website, just go into professional works and you'll see I've shot stuff with some really old cameras and some really screwed up lighting. But when the client wants you to deliver, it doesn't matter. You do what you got to do. And that's where you have to really start mastering light, and you have to know the limitations. I know that on some of the older bodies, I can't do what I can with the newer ones. I know that already, right off the bat. And so I'm not going to push it that way. What am I going to do? I'm going to take one of those things called flash. You guys use those?
A what?
Do we use something like a flash? You
Oh,
guys use a flash?
I didn't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you something really cool. I think you'll find this hilarious.
Okay, now save with watermark.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Oh no, let's see. I'm just doing a side-by-side comparison to.
These are 600 EXRTs. This is their top of the line flash.
So you got, hang on a second. I was looking for something on the computer.
Lots
There
of
we
them.
go.
Wow.
All your speed lights. Yeah.
Well, why do we have that?
Yeah.
When we can shoot at ISO 25,000 and just use topaz denoise. Why do we need that?
No, I know where you're going with that. You're right.
Right?
Learn to light your subjects.
You gotta have a certain lighting ratio to be able to get a nice.
When I hear people say, "Oh, I'm a natural light shooter," you know what I hear? I'm afraid to learn flash photography. I'm laid. I don't want to invest in. Yeah. Because natural light photography is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but not always.
So
it has a limited time window. Go ahead.
What does flash do? Right. Let's just talk through it. Right. Why do we use flash, and why in fashion photography till today you'll see big strobes firing with big umbrellas and all these kind of things happening, right? Parabolic, this, that, and all that stuff. Why does that happen? Are they crazy? Maybe they are. Right? Why do we do that, guys? When you shoot color, what happens to color when you shoot with flash and without flash?
We want to preserve the colors, not just that, but we want to accentuate the features of whatever the subject is. And when it comes to people, it's so much more appealing to me when there is that contrast.
Right.
Meaning I like a dramatic photo. You can't tell by my thumbnail. I love
it. But seriously, when you shoot an image at ISO, let's say 3200, right? It's pretty good. Most cameras are pretty good. Even cell phones are pretty good at 3200 nowadays, right? The moment you shoot it with the flash, even on your phone, life comes out of it. It's like the red actually looks red, the blue actually looks blue, and the person's face actually doesn't look like they're dead.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? Right? But we don't talk about this. We only talking about, my dynamic range on my camera, the dynamic range, screw your dynamic range, because the moment you move off of your base ISO, whether it's 64, whether it's 100, 200, you start moving off of that, you can kiss that 14, 15 stops, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And the moment you hit over 3200, you can really kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
You don't have very much left there. I don't care if you even have a Sony sensor, the best in the world. You don't have much left. So you need this. So
Yep.
learn to use flash, guys.
Yeah, you know,
so-
I didn't mess with flash for like a really long time. I didn't like it in my early days, and then I just shot natural light for a while, and then I actually got like a good flash system.
Yeah.
And it sucks because now I have to pull everything in a wagon, but I can't leave it at home anymore. There's just no comparison, you know, for the kind of stuff that I do, because I like that dramatic and robust and punchy look. That's like my
you have created a style now, right?
Mhm.
And you've created a look that, guess what? 90% of YouTubers, what are they shooting? ISO 25,000, and oh my God, look at the low light, low light. Who gives a shit for low light? It looks like crap. The person looks like they're about to die, man. They look pale.
They look flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know,
it doesn't look good.
you can get it there in Photoshop, and it's a ton of work. You have to select your image, invert, darken that, and then you have to go back to your image and individually adjust your image. I can do it. I do it all the time. You know, whenever my back is hurting, I can't take my flash, but it's a lot of work, you know?
But
it's a lot of work.
If you remember what Chuck said in the beginning, people are starting to outsource their editing. Why is that? Now you know why. Because when I shoot flash, who's controlling the light? I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I can do batch processing in Lightroom in 5 seconds. I can do 200 shots, it's done. I mean, I have, here, let me grab one more thing and show you.
Yeah, Roy, there's a time and a place for each. You're absolutely right. And I have both. I have speed lights, and I also have strobes for the studio.
Mm-hmm. I prefer strobes myself.
Well, it just depends. You know, you can't carry a strobe around.
Oh, I do. I have a wagon.
No, I'm talking, but you can't mount it on top of your camera when you're shooting the runway or something.
I have to say
hard.
this. At one of our meetups, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. At one of our meetups, we had this very elderly photographer, and he had like a walker or whatever. And on the front of his walker, zip tied, was a stand, and he had his strobe hanging off the front of his walker, dude. And he would just push up to where he needed and shot from there. I'm like, dude, that's the way to do it. That's going to be me someday.
I'm probably not too many years away from that.
So what's the first thing that you guys shoot when you show up to an event?
Hey, welcome, Jason. Nice to see you in here, sir. Go ahead, Amar.
I would shoot
color checker.
Does anyone shoot this?
No,
they don't.
I don't. You know why? Because I don't shoot products. I don't shoot, and I'm actually going to edit to my taste. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but there are times when I have used the color checker, and yes, it does help me with color, but that was for something specific where I had to render color exactly as it appears.
So let me share with you what I do with
labels.
This. So I'll give you a little tip on what
exposure or color.
So I do both. I shoot this, and I shoot this.
Yeah.
Because when you start shooting runway, you start shooting fashion, there's tons of color, and everyone has different skin tones.
No, brother, you're absolutely right. And like I said, I know there's a place for it. Absolutely.
Right. So when you shoot it with your flash, and you shoot, so you set it up on the light stand like we were talking about, you fire it off with this, you fire it off with this, you create your custom profile in Lightroom. If you don't know how to do that, you can find thousands of videos. When you start editing with this, once this is done, your editing process now becomes a third of what it would be painful trying to fix every single thing. And you have perfect color every time.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, there's so much more to that. And I know you'd love to get into it too, but I mean, it's sticking with the Kelvin temperature, because that's what you really need to do. The Kelvin temperature all the way through the shoot. So everything's identical, same light constantly.
Correct.
If you change the lighting ratio, then guess what? You got to pull the color checker out again, because that's giving you those colors based on the light for that particular photo. So yeah.
Right. So that's the key. So how do you master light? You got to understand it first. It's a small little tool, but people laugh when you start shooting this over there. They're like, oh, what are you doing?
And it helps you extremely when you want to have the right colors in the edited photos. However, There's that other piece that you have to do, and you have to have a calibrated monitor.
Yeah.
Unlike me, the Walmart special.
Hey,
and I got
need
under and
this.
made it worse trying to fix it.
That's what you need. You need one of those.
Real quick, I just want to say that with reasonable ISOs, I did a little test.
Uh-huh.
Lightroom will not clean up noise and leave any detail behind like Topaz, and that's why I am buying this stuff now.
Awesome.
And I may go back to an old little side hustle that I had going on in early 2020. I made a pretty decent chunk of change fixing Aunt Betty and Uncle Russell weddings.
Yep.
Because they shoot at like just auto, and the first thing your camera wants to do is jack up the ISO.
Yeah.
I could rock through some of them fixing bad wedding photos with this right here.
Yeah.
That pay itself off.
So
instantly.
you know what, Zach? You should use the coupon code Chuck Talks for that one.
Yeah.
They double the price. No, they double the price.
I just want to remind I want to remind everybody to check out my sponsor. Triangle Space was nice enough.
There you go.
I use GoDaddy. I never did a video on that. Maybe I should start.
I was really excited when Agave Nectar book reached out to me.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I stand corrected. You're absolutely right, Matthew. You can put that 300, the little Coke can size strobe on a flash bracket on your camera. Yeah, you could do that. I stand corrected. But I mean, this is really getting into, do I buy speed lights or do I buy strobes? And that's up to you. If you can afford both, you have both. I mean, that's the biggie. But I would say speed lights are more versatile unless you only shoot in studio or portraits outside where you can actually set up lighting or whatever. But other than that, the more versatile is the speed light because you can shoot that anywhere you go. And there's so many modifiers for speed lights, whether today, I mean, here's the other thing about flash though. This is why you need to practice with it. And it's fun doing that because you don't want it to appear to be a photo taken with a flash, a strobe light or a speed light. You want to learn to mix the ratio. There you go. Yep. To balance the ambient light with the flash intensity. I don't know how to say that any better.
Basically, you want to set up like a fill flash scenario and have your background exposed so it balances out. Unless you're doing it for effect.
Well, and here you go. Amar's got the key to easier success is the light meter.
And consistent. It's very consistent. This don't lie. I mean, I tell you right now, this could be a $7,000, $10,000 camera.
Yep.
But the meter in here, it's not the same as an incident light meter.
Yep.
In-camera light meter is not an incident light meter. Don't fool yourself on
that.
And here's another
light
thing.
Meter in a camera, it's not incident.
If you shoot with strobes enough, if you're doing studio work and you shoot with them enough, I guarantee you'll be within a half a stop wherever you need to be every time you go set up. You learn it.
Exactly.
You learn it and you know by experience. However, the light meter is the absolute time saver.
And then we can add these in the back, Chuck, whatever, depending on what you got. Yeah. And then you can literally fire the strobes or whatever you're doing right from here.
Yep.
You do know that Canon introduced the EL1 strobe, which is made to shoot 20 frames per second.
Wow.
With the R3, it's about $1,100.
Yeah.
But the recharge on that is it's as powerful as a studio light. It's insane.
Wow.
And it can shoot about 600 shots per charge. So,
wow.
It's heading that way, and it's made for mirrorless, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Nikon got out of the speed light business, by the way.
Yeah.
Did they really stop?
Yep.
That stinks.
So they're talking to Pro Photo, and believe it or not, Nissan or whatever it is.
Nissan,
yeah, Nissan.
The ramen noodle company?
Well, that's what Fuji did. Fuji used to make their own strobes, and then they went to the same Nissan or whatever, and it's like all just bunch of crap. It's not even decent quality.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know why they would mention it, but they did. But yeah,
what was it? The SB 800 or something like that. That was an incredible piece.
I got one. It's awesome.
Yeah, well,
they're actually hard to find too.
Yeah, that's the one everybody looks for, used or on the market somewhere.
You don't want the 900 though.
People do not relinquish their 800s very often.
So the only problem with the 900 is if you're, again, let's just say runway models where you're allowed to use flash, because that's not always the case, but it definitely would overheat. You could melt the SB 900. The 910 fixed that. You know how they fixed it? They put a heat limiter on it, so it just quits.
Buy this new one.
You're not going to burn it up, but then again, you're not going to have flash until it cools down.
Oh, they didn't put a cooling fan on it like they're going to put on the back of the Fuji camera.
No.
Well, the EL1 that I'm talking about from Canon, it actually has its own cooling fan in there. It actually does.
See?
Yeah.
But for stills, we can live with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The only time we're worried about fan noise is when we're doing video and we have things mounted near the camera microphone that make noise. So, yeah, I've got a SB 900 and a 910, and I've got a bunch of the Godox speed lights as well. I probably have enough lights, and don't ask me why. I don't know. I'm a compulsive buyer when it comes to lights, it seems like, but I've got enough lights to light a stadium. Between speed lights and strobe lights.
You have a gas problem, Chuck.
I do. We did that live stream.
Yeah, you have that gas problem.
Yeah. When is enough? For me, I can't
the
answer that.
Is never.
The problem with the Canon one was when they made this trigger, which could do up to 16 of them. Yeah. And it like flawlessly syncs. You don't have to do a damn thing, and it's incredible how it works. When that happened, it's like you can never have just one,
Yeah.
And then you just put one wherever you want, and you can control all the power right from here on top of your camera and have a field day.
Yeah, that was the Nikon creative lighting system. They had set up. Same thing, and Joe McNally used that constantly. He's a speed light king. Not that that's all he shoots is speed lights, but yeah, he's got a bag full of speed lights everywhere he goes.
The strobist. That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, but I would encourage anybody to get out there and play with lighting. I mean, seriously, you can do it in natural light. Just get in the sun, look at the hard light, and look at the shadows it casts, and you get an idea of what you can do with softer light in a studio with a strobe. A studio, by the way, is your living room. Okay, you don't have to have an actual studio. I just happen to take over our living room and make it a studio.
That's awesome. We've been at it almost 3 hours. Wow.
Yeah. See how time flies when you're having fun?
You asked how long will this go? Usually we're on so long. By the time we're done, I have a beard just like Z-Wade does. I have a beard, and then before the next show, I shave it off. That's how long we could go.
Don't worry, Amar. We're not going for a record tonight because I don't think I can hang for the record. It's 4 hours and like 20 minutes or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, this is where I was telling you, I have people that from time to time will send me a comment and say, or even an email, because it's available on the channel. They'll send me an email and say, well, it just goes too long. I couldn't stay for the whole thing. You need to shorten it. Well, there are 39 people still in here right now that seem to be having a good time listening to us and our banter.
That's incredible. That's really incredible. That's awesome, man.
And Roy down under, what time is it right now, Roy? It's incredible. I don't know how he does it, but
I don't know. But he joins every single one that I have. But at 5 a.m. or something there.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember the conversion. I was trying to do it the other day off the top of my head, not for Australia, but for Malaysia for somebody. And I'm thinking, no, I'm just going to Google this.
Jeff and Leslie, have a good night. Have a good night.
Thanks for being in here, buddy.
Night, Jeff and
Appreciate
Leslie.
Greg still has 68% battery.
Oh, that's right. It's Saturday night here. So yeah, this is his best time block.
Yeah.
So it's only 1:48 p.m. for him.
I have to say that something else about Topaz is it's doing a really good job of breathing life into this woman's armpit hair follicles.
Thank you.
I'm really
So
I'm
you're
amazed
saying,
by this.
you're
It's
saying
really
it's
good.
too much detail.
It's really great for nose
I
hairs
don't think
and ear hair too.
I
It's
don't
really
think
good.
I want those raw files.
It's really amazing. It really is.
Send Jeff. Send Long Rider the JPEGs. He's a JPEG boy.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I was just going through and I was doing touch up, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting that much detail to be in there. I guess.
Yep.
I was at f2.8. I expected at 5.6, not 2.8.
So with all joking aside, guys, seriously, women don't like very sharp images, right? And
That's right.
Most models don't like it. It looks nasty, right?
Yep.
So we I don't know what fascination lately we've had that it has to be so sharp that you can see every single vein inside. It's just I don't get it. Lenses are supposed to have some, I don't want to use the word character, but they're supposed to make someone look more beautiful than they do when they look in the mirror.
Oh, if it's overly sharp, every wrinkle shows up on their face and their
Well,
forehead. And you can age them 20 years if it's too sharp.
You can, and you can do that. You can do that with strobes too.
Right.
You have to be careful. You're absolutely right.
That's a difference. It's a difference between detail and texture. Like they're two different things. And so you can have detail, but you can pull back your texture with like these higher, like even like the Z7 II was offensively detailed with portraits, but you can kind of soften it but maintain the details, And
let me share something with you guys where maybe we can make this the last topic for the day, but I want you guys to think about one thing. I've been saying this all throughout, right? Which is, glass matters. And it does. It really does. You can do all this computational stuff. That's all awesome. Can you imagine feeding a really high quality file into Topaz and then letting it do its magic? I mean, you would have breathtaking stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you did that. So give it the best that you can. So when you look at stuff like this, which is your Otis, this is the Otis 55.
I remember when that came out, man. I jonesed for that lens so much.
So it's manual focus, and it's like freaking butter.
I have the ZF2 100.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice lens.
And it has its own quality. And I mean, you hear people say, you hear people say it and you just don't believe it, but it does. It has its own quality to it.
It does. It does. And I'll show you something here. This is the one that they made for Sony next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Non-Otis, non-Otis. Both are 55 millimeter. Otis, I mean, this is Otis, non-Otis.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? Day and night.
Okay, so I was going to ask, is there a difference?
Day and night.
Okay.
Day and night. But again, the micro contrast of this lens is so incredible. When you put on a high resolution sensor, that's where it shines. You put this on a 24 megapixel sensor, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
This is good enough for that.
Yeah, I would shoot the ZF2 on the D850, and it sings. I mean, it just sings.
There's nothing.
You definitely with the Zeiss lenses, you definitely want to like if you want that Zeiss look, just go back to like the planar and the Distagon, like the F2 and 1.4 and stuff like that. That's what you want on 24 megapixels. The Otis is probably overkill for 24 megapixels.
There you go. This is a good comment by Albert talking about no matter the brand, many portrait photographers dislike mirrorless cameras. Whatever. This is a fact that no one talks about on YouTube, even though it's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. You know, it all depends on the lenses too, because we've talked about this before. I don't care about MFT charts. I know people do. I care about how it renders. You know, and you're absolutely right. Whoever said it a minute ago, you know, some of these lenses are just too incredibly sharp. They are. And so there's this big battle between it's too sharp, or, you know, if it isn't sharp, maybe it's got character or something that you like. And some lenses aren't very sharp. However, there's just something about what they do in a photo. Maybe they're terrible as far as sharpness in the corners, but guess what? It's one of those lenses that people love to shoot or whatever.
So I'll make a point. You know, everything that I have for Sony, other than the 200 to 600, it's all Zeiss.
Yeah.
I don't own Sony lenses.
Yeah. That's one of the things that was great about Sony is that they went to Zeiss, and the glass there is phenomenal. I'm not saying the Sony glass isn't, but
this baddest stuff is absolutely, they shouldn't have called it baddest. They should have called it badass. It really is badass. I'm telling you right now. I mean, it goes up against the Canon L stuff, and sometimes even Mark blows it out. And all of these resolve that 61 megapixel sensor.
There really isn't anything quite like the amount of care that Zeiss has for like contrast.
Right.
You know,
you got it. Bingo.
Like not micro contrast, but the contrast in general. It's like people were worried whenever the Milvis and the Otis and all that was coming out. They're like, well, what's the contrast like? I'm like, I'm pretty sure Zeiss wouldn't let another series come out that wasn't awesome on the contrast. You know, it's like, don't worry about it. Yeah. So they're the kings of contrast.
Here's female lighting, because there's enough contrast in it, but I can't ever get these things to. I have to be in. I was going to try to open it up so you could see, but anyway,
you got to quit. Lay down.
But and that's a single light portrait with a bounce card on one side, just to push a little bit of light in on her right side of her face here.
Yeah.
But you know, this is with the not new, but the 24 to 70 2.8 S lens. And I got to tell you, it is incredibly sharp, but I like, you know, you guys were just talking. I think it's too sharp at times. And I've often thought about, how do I take some of the sharpness out of it? I can do it in camera, in the profile, the picture profile in the camera, but that just never works out the way I want it to.
I'll tell you what it is, what you can do. I use Luminar Neo, the new one.
Yeah.
Just process your file like you do. Stick it into Luminar Neo and let it do its thing, and it'll come out looking beautiful.
Okay.
And it has all the profiles from Nikon, Canon, all the brands in there.
Honestly, Chuck, I usually just like to, in fact, I do it with, most of my shots. If you take your texture slider and just pull it a little bit, that's really just highlights or contrast for your highlights. Pull it back a little bit.
Maybe I need to practice that a little bit, because, you know, it's just, I don't know. You
can also just take a brush, like especially on the face, that's where all the pores come out, and you can just kind of paint it a little bit, but don't adjust your exposure. Just kind of pull back the texture.
I actually want it to, you know, be the overall effect at times. You know, I don't want incredibly sharp, seeing every hair follicle and everything else, especially when you're shooting women. They want to be flattered in their photograph.
If you use Luminar,
I got in a big argument with online with somebody one night about, you know, you should never do that or whatever. I'm thinking, what are you, crazy? How many women want to see every wrinkle or every whatever? And he says, well, I only do natural. If it's something that isn't normal, you know,
he doesn't want to get paid.
Well, yeah. I said, man, I'm not going to argue with you. You know, I asked my wife, I said, is it true you want to see every imperfection on your face? She said, who said that?
So some guy that's never made $1 more than once. He shot one shoot.
Yeah. So
But
anyway,
if you stick it into Luminar, and you can download it for free and play with it, and then use there's one that's called Fashionista.
yeah,
And you just click on that image that you were showing right now on what you're seeing happening on the right cheek.
yeah.
Man, it'll look like it came out like that out of your camera.
Wow.
Looks incredible, and you don't have to do anything to it. You're done. One click and it's over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's universal across the image. So
yeah. Hey guys, I'm sorry I never threw the phone number up here tonight, but now it's too late to
it's
go
already
through the
midnight.
phone calls.
Wow, we hit midnight tonight. Look at that.
Yeah. So we're at
Wow.
3 hours. So let's run in about another 10 or 15 minutes. If anybody's got any questions for you, I'm going to throw them up on the screen so you can see them, Amar. But
Okay.
here you go. You can see it on the screen.
Oh, where am I? I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. Yep.
Mark Lynch is getting ready to take off.
Thanks,
Later,
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. How far are you from there? I know he's around here, but I never.
Yeah.
I should have told him I was going.
Yeah. He'll answer here in a minute because there is that bit of a delay from us to YouTube. There you go. 35 minutes, he said.
Oh, he's close by. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. Perfect.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Amar or comments you want to make? You know, what a great looking chap he is, or how he married up with his beautiful wife.
No, I only shoot great looking people, man.
Here you go. Here's another question.
Oh, that rules us out.
Oh, yes. Tim, you got a good question. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and you can get the RF 100 to 400, which is $699. You can get the body for $14.99. You can go shoot high school sports. You're good to go.
There you go.
You know, under $2,500, you got the whole deal.
Long Rider's starting stuff in the comment section over here.
Yeah.
Long Rider did. He did teach me a thing or two.
Oh, I thought he was being sarcastic.
Well, you know, he did teach me a thing or two that, you know, Sony is definitely way behind on a lot of things. Like a touch screen that actually works. He's going to say good night now, Watts.
I think he was looking forward to this tonight too.
Well, I'm shocked he's still on. I don't know how many of you know, but he works in law enforcement, and you know, I just want to say one thing, not just for him, but for everyone. You know, they do an incredible service to this country. So please respect them out there. You know, regardless of where you are, because we need our officers to stay around. You know, to keep all of us safe, because they do put their life on the line every day. So
no, you're absolutely right, and I'm behind you 110% on that. You know, I've been shot at and chased, and you name it, all over Afghanistan and Iraq. But the difference is, I was allowed to shoot back, and often for the police officer, he has to make that nanosecond decision as to whether he does or he doesn't.
Right.
And I think, you know, I agree. Without the police, you know, who are you going to call when things go south in your neighborhood, in your house, or whatever?
That's exactly what I always say, because whenever it became a hot political debate,
Yeah,
I told everybody, I'm like, you have to have somebody to call, because I promise you don't want my justice.
yeah.
You know, my justice is not nearly as nice, and so it's got to have somebody to call.
I mean, there are a lot of
I
people
don't want that job. That's why I like police, is because I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
You know?
And I agree with you 100%. And I've said that often. I couldn't be a cop. I did what I did, but there were different rules of engagement and everything else. But I couldn't be one of those guys, because you know what? I would be the guy that gets in trouble, because I'm going home at the end of the night.
Exactly.
You know, and that may not be the best decision. Unfortunately, that's the way we see it. You know, it's crazy that you have to, you know, give your life, because you know the consequences going the other way too. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah, Long Rider, you and all your colleagues, big proponent.
Absolutely. Even though you choose Sony, we still love you, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's down there next to Seth
can't
You know,
be
it's
a
Miranda.
not it's not good, when you laugh after you say that.
Can't
Seth
be a
Mir-
perfect citizen. Noble job, but he shoots Sony. Not everybody's perfect, you know.
No, we love you even though you shoot Sony.
Seth Miranda's down there in Brooklyn too. So
Hey, so one last thing. Pooja is booking some show or something in Las Vegas, man. We're going to Vegas actually next week. I think I mentioned it on my channel if you don't know.
Yeah.
But I heard Wahagan's in Los Angeles, right?
he's near it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we
He
need to
loves
get
meet
together with
people
him.
when they go out there too. He's always asking people, "Hey, if you ever get out this way," so I know he'd love to do a meetup.
Yeah, you should. And Pooja is
What?
going to be with me, so it's all about music. He's there.
There you go. All
Yeah.
right.
We can definitely do
I
something.
mean, haven't they? I know they keep mentioning, meeting up at WPPI, and I guess what they have that at the Mirage. In Vegas,
you can't meet up at WPPI. It's too much rivalry there.
Nothing sounds more fun than showing up to an event based around the one type of photography I
Or
despise.
no. To show up as a group that shoots everything and won't join sides.
You know what we should really do is we should plan a trip to something like a Conowingo type of thing. Once it gets colder, so right around October, November, and maybe book some hotels and actually go down there and just hang out. I think it'll be a lot of fun to be able to get everyone to try. People that love the bird, they can do that. People that have never done it before, they can still try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll get to see more photographers than they ever, wished for all in one place. It's incredible to be able to see that.
I've got a few people in here that are up in the Connecticut, New York area, which I'm right on the border. And I've been, everybody wants to get together, but I think I'm going to set that up, we can include Long Rider in that.
Yeah.
But
He's
set it
in
up.
New Jersey.
Well, yeah, I want to, you know what? I think we'll keep it central, even though it's closer for Long Rider, but maybe go down into the city and do a street photography, which I love to do down there.
Yeah, we can
city.
do that. Yeah, we can go and maybe hop into B&H and get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea for me.
You'll be in financial ruin.
Yeah.
You will be absolutely.
Have you been to B&H, Amar?
Oh, many times.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Anybody, I tell people that if you're in New York City, I mean, just for whatever, you have to go to B&H.
It's I bought my first 1DS over there, which was in the early 2000s. So look, Wahagaracy. What, man? You show up all at the end?
Yeah, we're packing it up, Vahagan.
He's a working man. He's been working.
He's not working nothing. that Z9 broke on him today.
Yeah.
Tell us how it was. Go ahead.
Get B&H the sponsor. There you go. And then I can post that all over the place. Go to my link.
We can probably talk to B&H, sure.
Talk to Henry down there.
I think Jeff's got even another contact, the owner of it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I thought Henry was one of the owners, Mr. Posner.
His name starts with an E, I'm thinking. What did he say his name was? We can ask Jeff. But I deal with another guy for all of the affiliate stuff. But it's not the owner. But he apparently knows the owner too. So I'll be at B&H tomorrow. Oh, yeah, okay. What are you picking up, man? Give me 1 sec. Let me give Pooja something. I'll be right back.
Just in case your wife is watching there, Mr. Mac West. Be careful.
Yeah. Well, all of a sudden he'll go to open his wallet and pull out his credit card, and it won't be in there.
Hey, Vahagan, he's going to be out in L.A. here, I think, next week. When he comes back, we'll ask him real quick. But he wants to do a meetup with you. I know you like meeting up with folks when they get out there, that way.
Mac West, if you're getting the GFX 100S, just remember, if your wife asks what you're doing, the punishment is much less for I'm getting this girl's phone number than it is I'm buying a Fuji. I still need to shoot a GFX 100S. I want to rent one, but they're like $300 just to rent them.
Wow.
Just say you went there to buy film.
Yeah, we've been all over the place as far as talking subjects and everything, Vahagan. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed Amar being in here tonight too. We
got Amar to admit that he wished he had bought a Nikon instead of the Canon stuff. It was amazing. It didn't happen. That was a lie.
Mossman back
we were nice. We didn't pressure him, and we didn't put a guilt trip on him. We were really nice.
Chuck challenged him to a fist fight between Nikon and Canon. It was crazy, but we're all cool now.
Mac, I always tell her it's you.
That's the way to go.
Oh man.
Excellent plus condition, honey. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say it only had a sniff test done on it.
Thank you, Vahagan, for the co-gray on the Z9. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I waited a long time for it, man. I got it sitting up there. I walk around the house with it in my hands, still, Yeah. It's like, I can't believe it's here. I just want to hold it for a while. I may put it under my pillow. That way I can sniff it all night. That's the most important thing. I haven't got used to the smell yet.
Well, guys, if you all have any more questions for Amar, get ready with them as soon as he walks back in here, because we're going to wrap it up pretty quick. So this was another one of those, Vahagan, can you stay an hour? Yeah, I can be there an hour.
Yeah, I think we said we were going to wrap this up at like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and here we are at 3 hours.
It's just impossible. You guys are great, man. It's just impossible. Oh man.
Vahagan can't type for crap today. Damn iPhone U-type app. Co-gray on the Z9. Poor Vahagan. I imagine him over there just like can't get it right.
They don't make the keyboards with people with average size hands. That's the problem.
There you go. I like this too, Long Rider. I used to have 3 red Ducatos. She thought they were all the same motorcycle. When are you going to be out in LA? Well, I got to wait till he puts the headphones on. Hey, Amar, when are you going to be out in LA so you can let Vahagan know here?
July 7th through the 10th.
There you go.
Is he going to be there? He can join the live stream. Might be easier than typing.
Greg says it's only 9/11. We have lots of time. Yeah. California.
Hey, is it T-Tom? I would check Metabones. I think they make just about everything for everything. As far as adapters go, I'm sure they probably have one.
For contacts and Rolleiflex. Wow. Okay.
They may have one.
Either them or PhotoDiox.
Yep.
That's the only other name I can think of.
Yep.
For the old
stuff. SJ, we're still going, man. We don't know how to quit. Hey, Nick, how you doing? What part of LA, he asks. Here you go.
I'm going to be right by the airport, man. Because I didn't want to stay in the city. You guys go kind of crazy down there.
Well, you don't want to shoot photography with Vahagan. He has a history of having run-ins with the police over the difference between professional and hobby photography.
Hey, thank you, T-Tom. I appreciate that. Shoot, I'm just happy people show up. I can't charge anybody.
No, we can meet up.
Well, Chuck, if we have a bad night, they could pay us to leave.
There you go.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. I could have got that guy, hey, for $50, I'll make them shorter.
Hey man, we talked about a lot of camera stuff, but we actually talked about some really, I guess, I don't want to preach to the choir, but I think we shared things here today that really could be very valuable for the folks that really paid attention to it, right?
Yeah.
Those things can really make a massive difference in what you shoot and how you shoot it. If you just paid attention to this, and if you missed this live stream, I hope you go back and look at it 3-4 times and listen to those things, because the folks that are here right now that are talking, they're not winging it. They weren't born yesterday and started this just overnight, right? I mean, this is not a Best Buy photographer telling you what to do. This is a lot of years of experience. Sorry, I don't mean anything.
Best Buy photographer? No, I know exactly what you mean by that. That's why it's funny.
The Walmart guy that handles the photo department.
The Best Buy photographer is hilarious. It's like, when I first, this is many years ago, I walked in and the guy's like, okay, so you need to come over here to the Sony counter. And I'm looking at it and it says, bring your own lenses is what it said on there, right? Because at that time they had no lenses. So here's a camera, here's a little adapter, and bring your lenses and you can put on there. I'm like, so why would I do that? By the way, Canon pays for this whole space, but we're told to sell you the Sony. I'm like, okay.
Welcome to my sandwich shop.
Oh, that's what you
just
get.
has
So,
meat with no bread.
It all depends on what's going on. And then, like a few years ago, I went back in there. It's like, oh, did you guys check out this new Fuji X whatever the heck it was? And I'm like, are you guys getting paid by Fuji this week? He's like, yeah, they told us to sell this week.
Yeah,
but that's what they do. Seriously.
In the days of the photo stores, when I went to Ritz Photo, every month it was a different brand that got promoted and was on sale. One month it would be Canon, the next month it might be, Fuji, the next month it was Nikon.
Right.
And when that next month rolled around, that other brand, they're the best cameras.
Yeah.
And if you went there the next month, now this guy has the best cameras. It was
right.
Why is it better? Because we have more in stock of these.
Yeah, we got to sell something. We got to make some money.
Heroes asked this question before. You want to answer that real quick, Amar?
Yeah, the pre-shooting with the R7, is it useful? It can be. The M6 Mark II had it too, if you watch my last video. So it's nothing new. None of these features are new, by the way. Auto leveling thing that they talk about, it's not new. It's been there for 4 years, right? So is it worth it? It can be. If you really are someone that's, not always ready to go, and not in the game, and you're just, casually doing it and you need to have it, sure. It does work though. Because it does buffer all of that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is a lot of the times when you're buffering, you're not as steady and the camera's moving. So what I have found is most of those shots are not really usable unless you really are, glued onto it and ready to shoot. Then you might have better results. So just be
probably
cognizant.
better on like something like a monopod or something.
Yeah,
would probably really get the benefit out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Wait
think
a minute,
it's
Robert, I gave up photography, so why am I watching this, man? Don't go.
That's because there's a video button on our camera. That's why you didn't give up.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Robert. You gave up photography, and that's a bad thing. But thanks to our sponsor, KEH, you can go. I was just kidding. Oh gosh,
Robert, I think people should get hung up on that stuff.
I hope you're kidding. I hope you're kidding, brother.
So Mahagan, I'm actually going to be on Century Boulevard.
Who made a biography spoof?
Oh, you got to watch it on mine, man.
Yeah, you got to go over to. Yeah, you got to go over to. Yeah.
I'll
there
watch
he
it.
Goes. He's already on it.
As soon as the stream is done, I'm on this.
Don't eat any food and don't drink anything while watching it because you're going to choke.
Joe Mack asked this real quick. You can grab this real quick. Where's the pre-shooting setting located? I haven't run across it yet.
You have to enable the raw. Where the heck is the camera? It's here. I'll tell you. they moved it a little bit on this one. It's under the raw. What is that raw burst thing? Once you enable that, it automatically enables the pre-shooting.
What's the title of the video so I can find it?
Amography, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Nikon Z8 Amography style is what it's called. Okay, so it's under the camera menu, tab 6, and it's the second option. So it's the raw burst mode.
Oh, this already looks good.
You have to turn that on.
There you go, Joe Mac.
I think the thing with pre-shooting is, I think if you, it's more important that you learn your subject,
right,
and understand your subject. If you know that, say you're a birder, if you learn about the bird, you understand the mannerisms of the bird. You kind of can anticipate what the bird's going to do and when it's going to do it. Like lots of times, hey, if a bird, just before a bird flies, it takes a dump. If a bird takes a dump, it may be getting ready to take off and fly.
Yep.
So you look for all these signs, and you don't have to worry about any pre-shooting. You already know, okay, it just did the Hershey squirt bit. Get ready to fire off.
Hey, Jeff, I'll say this. My reflexes aren't quick enough. I want to see him actually begin to take off the branch. So I do like the pre-shoot piece. It's just going to add about 20 photos. I mean, come on, we're already shooting thousands, why not? And then you get it from Jump Street. So yeah, I think there is a purpose for it. I agree with you. You can at least get in the ballpark, by watching his what he's doing or whatever. But that pre-shoot's nice because now as soon as I see him move, I'm going to get everything that came before me hitting the shutter, at least 1 second worth of burst.
Now here's a question, because I did not know that. That's actually really cool. So say I want to get a picture of the bird taking a dump. What is the prerequisite sign that he's about to take a dump?
He's squirming a lot. Like
they usually look at you and they wink twice.
Then the eye autofocus is not going to work. So then if the white balance color changes, you got just pooped on.
And see, that's the problem. That's the problem with Nikon, is the fact that they don't have turd tracking yet is offending my consumerism.
If they fly over you, don't look up.
I need bird crap tracking tomorrow, okay?
Oh man.
And for the record, since Vahagan's here, for the record, the Z9 is the best focusing Nikon today. Guaranteed it's the best focusing Nikon today. Is it as good as Sony? I don't know. Is it as good as Canon? Definitely not. But it's the best focusing Nikon.
I can see the paycheck from Nikon that you got for saying that. It's sitting right back there on the table. They backed that money truck up.
I know he's tried on every live stream. He's like, say it, man. Just say it. Just say it's the best. Just say it.
Oh, wait. That check is from Vahagan. Oh,
yeah,
that's weird.
The thing is, though, you used a caveat, though, so you can't count that.
He's going to personally bring it for me when I go to LA.
I will, Greg.
That would actually be... It would be a really cool video if you guys just swapped cameras.
We
for a
should.
segment.
We should. Oh, I would be more than happy to show him the R7, and then maybe he might. I hope he comes back and continues his channel after that, because I think he's in for a rude awakening when he actually picks it up and starts using it. And I paid $6,000 for this. I paid $14.99 for this. I paid $6,000 for this. $14.99 for this.
Now, why you got to bring price into this and make all of us feel?
It's all about the price, because you know what? Tomorrow they're going to want everything that the Z8's going to have for the price of the Z50.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is.
What is it we always say, Chuck? Everybody wants every feature in the world in a lightweight, compact body for under $1,000.
Right.
Yeah. They want to build a bear camera shop where you walk in and just piece yours together, and all cameras are under $300.
Right. They can go to wish.com. Have you seen the videos of those cameras? They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Don't worry, Vaughan. I'm not going to watch him on IG or anywhere, but I'm sure somebody's going to tell me about what he's said or done now.
I've got 2 things to watch as I'm laying down because now Vaughan brought this up, so I've got to do it. And then I got to watch this amography.
Hey, Chuck, I don't know if you heard down here, there was a guy that got killed by an alligator the other day.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
he lived on a golf resort property type of place, and I think it went on the guy's property and it grabbed him. It grabbed the guy. It wasn't like he was golfing. It doesn't sound like it. He grabbed the guy, dragged him in the water, and then they called the appropriate people, and they found the body, and they euthanized the gator.
Man.
Right on site. Killed the
Man.
guy.
That's terrible, man.
So you never know, and I've had them within a couple feet of me or less sometimes. So
yeah, that's terrible.
But you never know. They're unpredictable.
Trying to find the lid to the bottle, and then try to take a drink and realize the lid's on the bottle.
Okay, I'm going to interject for a second. Vahagan's right. Chuck, do not watch the Instagram stories.
Okay, I won't.
Do not do it. I watched 2 of them and I put it down.
Yeah.
Too political for this stream.
Oh man. Well,
Oh.
I don't know what happened, but
I think it's about time for me to get a bite to eat because I skipped dinner and go watch this amography video.
yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Make sure you go, if you haven't, subscribe to everybody's channel here. And we'll catch you guys in the next.
I'm going to drop a link to your channel and again, Jeff's channel, and of course, Amar's channel in the description for those that may not know it.
Cool.
So, and yeah, I'd invite everybody to go check out the other channels. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here tonight, Zach. And sorry we didn't get around to a lot of your first impressions of your Z9.
It's all good, man. I came in for the lessons on bird poop, not to talk about the Z9. With that said, we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for having me, Jack. Later.
You're welcome, Zach. Thanks for being here, man.
Long Rider, the gator, I'm looking at my phone. It said the gator was 11 feet long that killed the guy.
That's a big gator.
Yeah, I mean, the typical length, the longer lengths tend to be 13 feet. So that's almost full size. I mean, They get bigger in Florida because they eat all year round. They don't kind of hibernate. They're up and about the whole year. So they get a lot bigger than the ones down here.
Well, Hagen, if you had me on your channel, man, you'll fall off your chair.
I hear a candy bar wrapper. Yep.
No, it's this. It's this stuff. Have you had it before?
Is it good for you?
Yeah, this one's
if it's good for you, I probably
I haven't had it. My wife tries that on me all the time. No, you're gonna like this. No, it's cardboard.
Oh, you guys are crazy.
Everybody's enjoyed you being in here, Amar, including myself, man. I really appreciate you jumping in here tonight. And
absolutely.
More.
Absolutely, we should.
You need to get a live stream going, and trust me, I'll be over there watching you, buddy.
I don't know how to do it, man. You're gonna have to show me.
All you got to do is get Restream. It does it for you. Hey, I'm so untechnical. I can't even figure Instagram out.
You got too many colors and all those lights.
You got to get a panel with all those lights on it, like Chuck has.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It looks impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know what? I bet you that's just some fake intercom system for his house.
It is. It's just a bunch of Christmas lights I spring back here. It looks like a panel or something, doesn't it?
Leftover DJ light.
I just arranged them all in a row. Makes people think I've got some kind of computer system going here, and the fake window in the back.
The purple one rings the doorbell.
Watch him get a whack in the back from his wife. And, oh, that's a real wife, though.
Oh man.
So where in Tennessee are you, Chuck?
I'm in Connecticut. I'm moving to Tennessee. I wish it were tomorrow. However, it's not going to be quite that soon, but we are moving to Tennessee. So I'm in Connecticut.
Where in Connecticut?
Brookfield, Danbury, Connecticut, right on the border.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to come to Bloomfield all the time when I used to work for Cigna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Tony and Chelsea live close to you then.
Yeah. So does Joe McNally, so it kind of evens out.
Yeah. Hope you're closer to Joe.
Oh.
You want to be leaning the Joe way.
Actually, I will be in Joe's neighborhood tomorrow. There's Jay Leno's coming to the Ridgefield Playhouse here in Connecticut, and they're having a car show. Imagine that, because Jay's kind of a car guy.
Mhm.
And I'm going over to shoot the car show and probably obviously get to meet Mr. Leno while he's out there. And everybody will be, hey, take a picture with me. Take a picture. Can I get that? No. I wind up with 59 email addresses from people that are, hey, can you send me a copy of that? No, they're all going to one man. If you want a copy, you got to go to him. I'm just the photographer. I'm not the media guy.
Yeah, they just think that you're there to do it for them for free. And the best part is, just because you have a camera, they'll give you their cell phone. Can you take it? You probably take it much better than I can. I'm like, what?
Yes, exactly. If you got a big camera in your hand, everybody wants to walk up and hand you the phone. Hey, could you take a picture of us together?
Well, you gotta see if they're silly enough to give you their credit card number and their social security number.
Yeah.
I mean, what I did at that Miss India thing, when they started to do that, because there was a Bollywood actress that was there as part of the main host, and I mean the guest. Anyway, so when they wanted to take a picture with her, they're like, "Oh, can you shoot it with my cell phone?" I'm like, I'm looking at my camera, I'm looking at their phone. I'm like, I have my own camera. Why are you giving me that? But that's my phone. I'm like, then you take the picture yourself. I mean, it's like I was hired to take pictures with my own camera there.
Exactly.
I just don't get it. It's very interesting.
Jerry Guionis back on Vihography this Tuesday, folks.
He's an awesome guy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's a lot of fun. I mean, he's great when he's live too. A lot of people don't want to be live. They want to do the recorded interviews and things like that. But he's great.
He's a trip.
He is. And that's a husband and wife team too, by the way. Yeah.
And he's got the mastery of light and how to position the subject correctly in the light.
Albert says, you got to bring Amar back. Yeah, I think
we have to come back. Yeah, this is awesome. That's good. Now, I think we might be onto something, Chuck. I'm telling you. The only way to change the landscape of YouTube is to do something different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, for anybody that's going to start a YouTube channel, live streaming is not the fastest way to grow. If you do it my way with 3.5 hour live streams.
Right.
So I don't know if I ever do get monetized, not that that's a great thing, big thing for me. I don't know how, I don't even know how it works for live streams. So.
Well, you will do well with especially with the amount of engagement that you're getting right now. I'll definitely encourage all the folks that are on my channel to obviously subscribe to yours for sure, because I
appreciate it. But I mean,
a good channel to be on.
I would hope that they do it just because they enjoy being in here with all the photographers. So I'm going to carry on a message you were giving just a few minutes ago, Amar. Yes, there are lots of things that go on in these live streams, lots of tips and things that you may miss or whatever, because we're kind of bouncing around, but that's the fun of this, is interacting with the chat room.
Right.
And I would say, who wants to go sit and watch something for 3 hours? Some people will, but my point here is if you look at the chat, there's so much information that goes on in the chat,
Oh yeah.
separate from the stream itself. Lots of people asking questions and getting answers from people that are very knowledgeable. And you brought that up, Amar, and you're right. I mean, we got Roy Bigsby in here just to pick one. This guy's been in photography forever as well. He's a product photographer and did other things before, of course, he's had every Nikon since Nikon began building cameras.
Right.
But the point is that every chat room that you go to has a lot of knowledge in it. And if you just watch the chat, it's amazing what you pick up, bits and pieces. So I just wanted to carry that thought on, Amar, because you're absolutely right.
Well, let's continue that momentum and actually change, the vibe, right?
Yeah.
And make it more positive. It's okay. We can all coexist and live regardless of what we shoot. Let's just celebrate photography for the beautiful images we produce.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't produce anything just by typing on the keyboard all day long. You have to go out and shoot. You have to make it happen. So
Amar's going to become a regular. Well, I hope so. I hope he enjoys it enough. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
It is. It is.
All right. I think that's about it. I think we answered the questions that they had. And thank you, Amar, for answering those questions. And again, that's what's nice about this. That was what gave me this idea. I would go watch videos, of course, or even live streams, and everybody ignores the chat, or in videos where there's, comments, and I'm going to be one of 200 comments and never get an answer to a question I have. Right. So the whole idea here was to let the chat room become part of the show. And guess what? You're more likely to get an answer here than you are on all the videos there are on YouTube. And I don't mean necessarily for me, but it's the guests that are in here. And of course, the people that are in the chat. So, all right, Jeffrey, I appreciate you being in here tonight as always, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
I love your therapy sessions every week. I do. I just love the explanation of the birds and the photos and everything else. It's just fantastic.
Yep, it is. And you just inspired me to actually pull out all of my prints because I'm a big, I have the Pro 100 inside there. It's all set up there to print,
Wow.
And I have lots of prints, but when we moved to this home, this used to be Pooja's office. She went downstairs in mine and I came all the way up. And actually she went back to her own original office. So I need to put more of those on there, but I really like what you've done back there. That looks awesome.
Yeah, somebody said you have a green screen.
For real, you really laugh hard. I'll tell you.
What's that?
It's really a smoke screen. If you knew what was how this room is set up. I mean, this is not an office. This is actually a bedroom.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Behind curtain number 3, there's a bed.
That's really cool. I can't even tell, but that looks really cool.
Had to. I wouldn't throw the bed away. I got to figure a way to dress things up and cover it up and make it so nobody knows there's a bed back there, and it worked.
So there you go. Photography's got one more question for you.
Okay, sure.
Amar.
Leica or Zeus? Leica or Zeiss?
Yeah.
All right. So Leica is phenomenal. Many of you know I shot Leica before. It's a special place. Are they the sharpest lenses? No. Are they the most beautiful to shoot through? No, they're not. But whatever they render, they have magic in them, right? And I know a lot of people don't like me saying that, but they do. Zeiss is the biggest bang for your buck, regardless of even for Nikon. If you look at, Zeiss made a lot of lenses like that Otis. They made a Nikon version of it too. Yep. And that one actually had the clickable aperture in it. Apparently the Canon one is electronically controlled. I wish it was clickable because I would love to pop it onto the Sony. So To put on the Sony, you have to use a Metabones adapter to activate the aperture plates. So that's what I mean. Zeiss gives you a lot of bang for the buck, but Leica is very special, and if you don't have that attachment like we talked about earlier, and you don't understand the system well, you shouldn't buy it. Seriously, because you would do disservice to it. It's almost like buying a Ferrari and actually driving in the stop and go traffic. It's you really have to have that mindset to shoot a Leica. Leica is not for everyone. But Voigtlander, how can I put that? That's more the best way I can, describe Voigtlander is, like Honda, the car Honda, the H is like straight. And then you got the one from Korea. It goes like this a little bit. It's called Hyundai, and the H is like slanted a little. And that slanted H is what Voigtlander is. It's an excuse to be a real Zeiss. It's a cheaper option. Some of them are good. Not all of them are. So they're hit and miss. So you really have to know your lenses. You got to try them out, and you might not get a good copy also, because I've seen lots where people will get a really good Voigtlander copy, and then same lens someone else gets, it's not as good. So if you really want the best bang for your buck, other than your native lenses, you should really look at Zeiss. And they're not paying me to say this, but I've shot Zeiss ever since I was a little kid. And I used to wear Zeiss eyeglasses too. Even the lenses inside were made by Zeiss, because the optics, that's their game, and they have it down. They seriously have it down, guys. I tell you, there's nothing on these lenses that has moved or gone bad in so many years of just abusing them. So
why is there an envelope getting slid underneath your door right now? Looks like there's money in it.
Is Zeiss paying you to say that?
Is there an envelope coming in?
No. They can send me another Otis instead. I don't need the envelope. Yeah, well, I'm partial to that, because I know every shot that you take with that. I wish I can fix this sharing of the screen stuff, because then I can really show you what these things can really do. Because me just talking about it means nothing, right? But the proof's in the pudding. When you actually put it up in Lightroom and you can see the raw file, and you're like, holy smokes. That's when you know what it can really do. So we'll work on that and get that done. But if you haven't tried it, rent it for your Z9 and put it on there and see. You'll be shocked.
Yeah, I got to take the Zeiss out and use the FTZ adapter, which I haven't done yet on the Z9.
You should.
So when you brought that up earlier, it reminded me I need to go play with that.
And when you shoot like concerts, okay, so you guys are into concerts, and I know how you are. When you shoot concerts and you shoot black and white monochrome shots, you shoot it with a Zeiss lens, especially something like an Otis, your head will spin for days. There's no match for it.
That's why I wanted that lens, the 55, when it came out, because of the black and white photography that they used in their advertising, their marketing. Man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, now I will say this. I have the two Sigma art lenses. I'm not a big fan, but I will say this, for black and white, those lenses are fantastic because they are very contrasty.
Yep. It's not all about contrast, Chuck. It's about, does the black really look black, right? Because there's this special decoration that a lens does, which is called chromatic aberration. All this nonsense that happens in there, artifacts that show up, just because of the imperfections in the glass, right? So when you look at something like your Otis, why does it cost $4,000? Right? Because all of that has been corrected. That's why if you remember the size, the 55 from Sony was this small, and the Otis this big. It's the same focal length.
Yeah.
It's triple the size. That's why, because to correct all of that, to give you an optically perfect lens, that's what you get. But when you shoot like concerts with backlighting, cross lighting all happening with an Otis, there's nothing like it, because that 3D pop that you get, you're not going to get that on any other system. And that's what I'm saying. Try the Zeiss and you'll be shocked. Yeah, the micro contrast. That's what Robert's talking about.
Yep. Hey guys, let's wrap this up only because it's time for me to get something done here before I go to bed. But again, I thank you, Amar, for
Sure.
stepping up and offering to come on. And I knew it would be a lot of fun. I really did. So, and it turns out I was correct.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Like you said, a lot of information passed. Thank you for letting your lovely wife come in and sit down and tell us about 247 Media Group.
Absolutely.
And, you got a wonderful wife there.
Maybe we should have her sing for us on a live stream one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do it from the recording studio downstairs. We have a recording studio downstairs where we actually record all of our stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Jeffrey, again, thank you for being in here.
thank you, Jeff.
Very nice meeting you, sir. It was a
Same
pleasure.
here.
I mean, a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And, I'll definitely subscribe. I'm not subscribed to yours. I've just seen some of your videos, but I'll go and do that to yours and Zach's as well. So,
thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. It's hard to believe on the East Coast, it's almost 1 a.m. and we still have 20 some odd people in here. You folks are amazing. I tell you. Yes. You really make this fun. So
I don't see a comment on how much battery power is left.
Yeah, well, he did make a comment a minute ago. Here he is. Let's see. Mash the like button. Okay, thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it. He wanted to know, does Zeiss make an 800 millimeter? It's all kidding aside. He's talking about the fact that he's still waiting on the 800 PF from Nikon. So
yeah, Zeiss does. It's called a 200 with a 4X on it. All right, guys. You guys have a beautiful evening. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. This is what a photography community can be, and I'm glad everybody joined us to see. All right. Hey, Vahography, thank you, buddy, for jumping in here. Sorry you were busy today or tonight and couldn't make it, but anyway, glad to see you in here. Absolutely. That said, I have nothing else. You guys have wore me out tonight, and let's do it again. And we will this Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. So we'll be back. What are we going to talk about and who's going to be here? I don't know yet, but it's going to be fun. All right.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks again. God bless you all, and have a good weekend, the rest of it. And I'll see you all Tuesday with Vahagan with Jerry Guionis. So, all right, guys. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.